Up and at 'em on a Wednesday morning. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful Wednesday. Get yourself up and going. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, as we have got perfection to talk about. Football game times to talk about. Opening weekend of football, actually, to talk about. A lot to get into this morning. Hope you're doing well. Plus, we got a big NHL game tonight. Patrick Perrette will join us coming up at 7:30 this morning. So a lot to do, a lot to get into. But Preston Thorne, Gamecock baseball, perfect.
Perfection. You said perfection, and you meant it. It was in peril. It was in doubt. But the Gamecocks.
My God, that was an awful game, by the way.
The Gamecocks snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, showed the heart of a champion, the courage of lions, and went out there and preserved maybe the only streak in America. I don't know. Does anybody else have this streak? Is it something we can claim?
I don't know who. John Whittle says one other team.
One other team. So us and one others.
One other. The Gamecocks are one of two teams in college baseball that navigated the entire regular season without a loss to a quad 3 or quad 4 RPI opponent.
That's right.
I don't know. He doesn't say who the other one is, and I have no idea. But
there's only other one.
Exactly. We play in a playoff, I believe, in 3 weeks for
playing
sprinkles on ice cream.
There should be a play-in tournament for this. If you go perfect in the midweek, you should get something.
It took 5 runs in the 8th inning in a very ugly game.
Courage of a lion.
And the Gamecocks get the job done. 6-5 last night over Winthrop as they wrap up the midweek portion of the season, get a day off, get LSU Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Y'all ain't got no more of the midweek games on the schedule? Can we get a couple more of those midweeks? Can we just find some more of them?
Tell North Florida softball team to bring their baseball team back on up here. See if they want a piece of us. North
got
Florida.
any more of the midweeks? We need some more midweek games. Schedule them. How do we do this?
Tell Elon to bring their baseball team when they roll into town for the softball regional this coming weekend. Welcome in. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, 6-5 last night. It was ugly. It was South Carolina baseball at its finest. They got the job done in the midweek and now moved to 27-26 on the season. So to guarantee a winning or a non how do I want to phrase this? A non below to not having a below 500 record, they've got to win one against Paul Maneri's former team.
Let's go
this weekend.
Let's go. It's one game. We need one.
You need one in a regular season. Then you would have to go win one in the SEC tournament to make sure you don't have a losing season. Can't go 1-3 down the stretch here. But South Carolina 27-26 in that. Playoffs last night. I don't know what to make of the Indiana Pacers beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't know what to make of the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers playing in the second round of the NBA playoffs.
We're on the collision course for Pacers Thunder.
Oh, dear
collision course.
Lord.
Watch out! I'm looking out on the sight lines. I'm seeing it incoming. Pacers Thunders incoming.
I haven't played that game yet. You just brought up the game that I like to play. All right, pick your NBA, your finals. Like we did this with baseball last year. I think I was like, well, Dodgers Yankees, and it ended up being really a bad series. It wasn't very entertaining, but I was like, it's Dodgers Yankees. That keeps me entertained. I hadn't played that game with the NBA right now, and I'm trying to play it. Tatum's done, ruptured Achilles. We were just talking about that off air in terms of his injury. But now you got me playing the game of, all right, Pacers, hopefully Knicks. Give me the Knicks. And then you got OKC and the Timberwolves play tonight. OKC, maybe the Timberwolves. Are we going with that? Was that okay? Oof.
I'm seeing it out on the horizon.
Ooh, Pacers, OKC is a rough NBA Finals. That will draw an all-time low. We got that. Also yesterday, countdown. Yeah, what do you got?
We're here for the countdown. We have 109 days. The countdown has officially started. And with that being said, we want to get to our new segment today. Jen, hit the sounder.
Now on the early game. Let's kick off the show with the MITs, the most important things on the game.
We have the most important thing. Yes, the Gamecocks went perfect in quad 3. Yes, we had the playoffs. But yesterday, Bill, we had something revealed to us. Bill, we have a team. Who's our first game against?
Virginia Tech.
We have a place. Where is our first game?
Atlanta.
We have a date. When is our first game?
August 31st.
We had all of that up until yesterday. But yesterday, it was revealed that game time has been set for 3 p.m. on Sunday.
Miami Notre Dame is at 7:30.
You did deductive reasoning?
I was 30 minutes off. I was 30 minutes early.
You had it for
30 minutes late. 30 minutes late. I said 3:30 would be because I thought 3:30. But yeah, so I had said actually on this program a few weeks ago it'll be an afternoon game. So when it saw it, I was like, okay.
So how do you feel about that?
It's great. You can drive over that day. You can drive back that night. We will be doing a radio show on that Monday morning. So for me, that's great. That I'll get up that morning, save $650, $700, maybe $750, maybe $800 on a hotel room at the Omni for that particular Sunday. You can because by the way, for those that don't know, the Omni is right there within walking distance. That's where we may be for the Tyler and Terry, and I think everybody else will be for the SEC Media Days. And when we went 2 years ago, they walked us over to Mercedes-Benz, and they do the big thing. So you can actually stay at the Omni and then walk over to the stadium, and that's if you want to know. But again, we're talking about $800, so bring your pocketbook. But yeah, that's my thinking. So no, I'm like, no, okay, all right, I'll get up that morning, probably go to the game, drive over, catch the game. Game be over about, 6:30, 7, unless we decide to go for a penalty-filled, review-filled game, and be back by 10:30, and be back in here at 6 a.m. to do the show.
Oh, so you are – I feel like you're doing one of these things that I do all the time is I feel like you're underestimating that drive to and from Atlanta.
No, I'm going to actually make that drive coming up several times. Go to the Braves game Sunday, the 26th, they play the Padres, and then go back to catch the Red Sox. I've done that a couple times. That drive doesn't bother me. That one's okay. I can do that one. Doing it during rush hour traffic through Atlanta, a little bit different, but on Sunday, that'll be fine. So, yeah. So, I wasn't surprised it fit in. I was interested, actually, to see the other games lined up for Saturday, but I will admit, yesterday, as we were talking about Josh Pate's top 25, or top 20, excuse me, and as we were breaking it down, and I kind of narrowed it down to Clemson or LSU for 1 and 2 because of the coaches and because of the quarterbacks, I kind of wasn't surprised yesterday to learn that Clemson and LSU will be the 7:30 game at Memorial Stadium.
Because
that's maybe the top two teams.
Because it's the best two teams, the Tigers matchup that we talked about yesterday, right? So that's really interesting. So where do you think this game falls on that scale of the weekend games?
South Carolina, Virginia Tech? Oh, it's way down.
Way down.
It's way down. Yeah.
Because of them?
Well,
because we obviously have a Heisman Trophy candidate.
I'll be interested to see.
We're playoff contenders.
Whatever the relevance is to it, where I know that people don't care about it and people get upset and get fired up about it, and it's more fodder to talk about. But when we get to August and we really dig into the game, I'll be interested to see where we end up South Carolina ends up in the top 25, because let's say that we're at 18. Let's just use Josh Pate's ranking. The relevance becomes even less. If we're closer to a top 10 team, yeah, okay, then it jumps up there a little bit. South Carolina hasn't started that high since 2014, and we all know how that went. But yeah, you look, it is a actually really good opening weekend, and that doesn't even count the potential that Bill Belichick may be on the sideline on Monday night.
This is true.
But
it's true.
It's in terms of, I think, of intrigue, and you're right, a lot more of it has to do with who Virginia Tech is. But in terms of intrigue, I mean, you're talking about some really, really good games that kick off the weekend. It's not going to be down the list for the national perspective.
Yeah.
But that's actually a good thing, because let me tell you, getting the game at 3 o'clock, getting it separate than a Saturday game where it would maybe get lost in the mix, and having that time slot to yourself on a Sunday is actually a really, really good thing, I think, because it will give Lenore Sellers a chance to showcase whatever it is they've got him doing, whether it's running or throwing. So there's a lot going on there that opens the door for this. And also, if you want to go over on Saturday, you can catch Tennessee and Syracuse at noon.
The Battle of the Orange, my guy.
Yeah.
The quote machine himself.
That's right.
So the weekend is going to be filled. It was just interesting yesterday for the spot for us to have our slot spotted yesterday. So today starts the official countdown now that we have a time. 109 days until kickoff against the Virginia Tech Hokies.
By the way, South Carolina 9 per ESPN bet. South Carolina a 9.5-point favorite. Over under currently set at 6.5. And that, if you're wondering, Clemson opens as a 2.5-point favorite over LSU. Over under set at 56.5 for that, according to ESPN bet. And we also learned yesterday Alabama at Florida State. Florida State trying to resurrect their program. That will be a 3:30 game on ABC. Crimson Tide, an 11.5-point favorite already over Florida State. And just for giggles, North Carolina, 2.5-point favorite at home over TCU on Monday night. I don't know who they're counting on coaching.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not sure why.
Stay alert for all of that. But Times, as Preston mentioned, put out yesterday. And also, just for those of you wondering, also yesterday, ESPN let us know that California at Oregon State will be scheduled for 10:30 on Saturday night. That'll be in Corvallis. If you just put it out there.
Well, I mean, if you're an ACC person, you might want to keep up with that.
Never know. Yeah, the old school Pac-12 matchup that is now actually, did Oregon State actually join the Mountain West, or are they still an independent? I got to look that back up. The evolution of college football is wild to keep up with. So that's our most important thing this morning. South Carolina, Virginia Tech, 3 o'clock at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. As Preston said, it would be ESPN. And then that night, and this is, again, why I knew that game would be, I thought 3:30, but 3 o'clock, Miami hosting Notre Dame, 7:30. That game will be on ABC on Sunday night, the day before Labor Day. So we've got some time set. Coming up later on in June, we will discover the other 2 games for South Carolina State in week 2. And Preston, I'm guessing, well, you know what I would prefer, right?
I do.
Give me the noon.
Nooner.
Give me the nooner. Get it just for the record, in week 2, no times have been announced just yet, but you've got a couple other really good games. That's why I'm like, give me the noon game. Let me get out there, do some morning tailgating when it's nice and humid, and then get me back home so I can catch everything in the night games. But we'll discover that game coming up in a few weeks. That's, again, South Carolina State coming up in week 2. And then in week 3, we should get that one again coming up. I think it'll be a little after the end of the month, but South Carolina hosting Vanderbilt, we should get that time as well. See, that seems like a prime 4:30. Jen, I know you go and sit in the press box. That the Vanderbilt game seems like a prime 4:30. I think, was it 4:30, 4 o'clock? I forget the SEC network time.
Yeah, and that should be a good time for a game for sure. One thing that, with the football schedule, obviously, paramount, but we are forgetting the Southern 500 is also that day at 6 o'clock. So it's like, well, it's going to be a toss-up. I probably won't go to the game, again, having to be back here early and all that. But I suspect somehow going to be watching a game while all the pre-race festivities are going on, So anyway.
803-404-6100, you're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Corley Pool Solutions, where right now is the time. You can't wait another day. You got to go ahead and get your pool maintenance lined up. Summer is just around the corner. I know for my kids, they've got about 8 days, 5 days, I don't know, a few days left of school, and they will be ready to use the pool, the lake, whatever this coming summer. And I know your kids will be as well, but you might be as well also. So make sure you use the professionals to line up your pool maintenance. At Corley Pool Solutions, they believe in providing the absolute highest quality swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family. Give them a phone call today, 803-445-8109. Again, that's 803-445-8109. That's how you can get in touch with Tracy Corley. With over 20 years of experience in the pool maintaining industry, he knows exactly how to get your pool looking spotless, get it looking beautiful. So call today and line up that pool maintenance. 803-445-8109.
And on the traffic-wise this morning, 2 right lanes are blocked. I-26 eastbound between exit 119 and 125. So going to need to be a little extra cautious as you're approaching that area and expect a slowdown. As far as forecast goes, a few storms later today, and then that should kind of get rid of the rain chances for a while. 85 for the high. Then it starts warming up. 89 tomorrow, 92 on Friday, 90 on Saturday. So good in that respect. 67 currently with some cloudy conditions on 107.5 Game.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
I could actually let this play the whole time and be perfectly happy. And I almost got lost in letting it play the whole time, and I'm pretty sure that might have infringed on some kind of copyright laws or something.
It's live recreation.
But yeah, I could have let that go. Inner Sandman by Metallica, one of my I'd put it up there, top 5 songs. Top 5, just play it, and I don't say a word. I try to sing along with it, but oh yeah, good one there. And underrated, I think, because Virginia Tech has kind of fallen off the map, but one of the best entrances in college football.
Yeah, so what that was, just last week, Metallica played live at the stadium where they were playing. That was a live rendition where Metallica was playing at the stadium, caused a mini earthquake in Blacksburg, so they say. Yeah, so that is one of the things, that is one of the entrances that is happening. And this leads me to one of my big points. And I was going to get to this later, but let's get to it now. Why are we doing neutral site games? What's the point?
So
wouldn't you have wanted to go up to Blacksburg and hear and see Inner Sandman at that time, do a home and home? We go up there, they come down here, Inner Sandman, Sandstorm. Wouldn't that have been cool?
we're going back to that. They're getting back to that. We got to be older. And well, there's a lot to get to, but, we go to Virginia Tech, I believe, in 2035, Preston Thorne.
Great. Good luck.
Yeah.
Awesome. I am sure 2025
I don't want to speak it into existence, but there's a chance I could be taking like a grandson or granddaughter up there because my daughter's 15 at this point. But
now, I'm sure 2025 sounded like the future to somebody at some point. I get that, and I understand that. And so,
they laid out those
right on the distance.
I don't think we have any more of the Charlotte, North Carolina games. I think we've just got a home and home with North Carolina. But in all honesty, you are seeing the home and homes come back.
Mm-hmm.
The neutral site games are kind of going away. You do have Charlotte, who has obviously their kickoff. Atlanta has had their kickoff for a long time. We're sending teams over to Ireland still, but I do think you're seeing more of the home and homes coming back. I mean, you kind of look at it. Florida State and Alabama are playing a home and home. LSU and Clemson are playing a home and home. South Carolina has home and homes lined up with North Carolina State, and Virginia Tech, and Miami. I think Miami's next year, actually, by the way, 26, 27, I believe. But anyway, so you're seeing those come back, and I agree with you. It's more fun to see those as home and homes than it is to have the neutral site games. I don't mind. This is going to be really cool with going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but I'm glad it's a one-time deal. I was never crazy about the Charlotte games, but South Carolina got locked into that with East Carolina, and then 3, I believe, with 3 or 4 with North Carolina.
Well, with the North Carolina games, I guess you could sell it as the rivalry, the border, Charlotte being right in between. There was some selling points where I could understand. It's still, this environment wasn't the same, though Chapel Hill's not known for having a great environment. Mm-hmm. But I could see that sell. But this game, going to Atlanta, playing Virginia Tech there, I guess it's cool for the Virginia Tech folks to get down to come to Atlanta. That's a cool trip for them. For majority of the folks in Columbia, the trip to Atlanta, not a thing. Either you do it or you intentionally don't do it. So that is the way that's sold. I don't think it really works for this game. But as you're right, those games need to come back, because what we found out from the playoffs is that that's the charm of this whole college football thing. The bowl games are fine, but what we found out was everybody really loves seeing the home games. Everybody really loves seeing the home tradition, the home fans. all of the culture that surrounds these stadiums. And that's the thing that's going to separate college sports from professional athletics.
So let's just go real quick here. This is this is back from January, but it was already listing the top games of 2025. I'm just going to read you the non-conference games. TCU at North Carolina. So again, at North Carolina, obviously Belichick's opener there. Looking very quickly, Southern Cal at Notre Dame. Now, that's a usual game that they'll play, but again, that is an on-campus game. Alabama, Florida State is one I mentioned. Michigan going to Oklahoma, week 2. Why, again, I said I want a noon game for
South Carolina State because I want Michigan at Oklahoma. That'll be the first real test for Brent Venables and Josh Pate's number 10 team in the country. I believe Sharon Moore will be making his debut that game, and he'll be serving another suspension. He's serving his 1-game suspension the first game, and then the third,
yeah, they just
game.
make up their suspensions kind of however they want to go. LSU at Clemson this year. Again, we've kind of mentioned that one as far as big games. Just scanning very quickly here. Notre Dame at Miami is a non-conference game. I don't know if it's one of those ACC games that Notre Dame plays that kind of counts. But that's another really good one. And then you've also got on August 30th, Texas at Ohio State, which that actually probably will be a noon game because it's the Big Ten and they put all their major games at noon.
I believe it might have got leaked that it is the big noon game.
Yeah.
I believe that it is.
So Texas at Ohio State. So right there you see LSU, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Miami, Notre Dame, if you will, but Florida State, Alabama. But you notice a trend there. All of them are on-campus games, not at a Mercedes-Benz or a Charlotte or an Arrowhead or Jerry World or something like that, like we've seen them do in the past.
So we're on the back end of the trend.
I think we are. I'd have to go back and look, but it feels like teams are going away from these neutral site games. That's the way I feel about it. I think, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this, 803-404-6100. I think this is the only neutral site game South Carolina has scheduled for the next 10 years, the next decade. Again, I mentioned the Miami series was coming up starting in 2026, where Miami will come here. South Carolina goes to Miami in 2027. I believe that is followed by North Carolina, and then that is followed by North Carolina State. And then, as I mentioned, you've got that great series with Virginia Tech where we get to go back up to Lane Stadium in 2035, 2036. Plan accordingly. And by the way, my father, and I think a lot of older Gamecocks, say that's one of the best road trips you can take up to Virginia Tech. That they loved it back in the 80s.
Probably a lot better than going I-20. I think most road trips are better than 20 West.
I am just glancing at South Carolina's future schedule here. Next year is Miami here, followed by Towson and Clemson right now. Just 3 non-conference games next year. So I don't know if the Gamecocks are prepping for a 9-game non-conference schedule. Otherwise, they got to schedule one more. In 2027, they got 4. Furman to open the season. Appalachian State comes here, and then a trip to Miami.
Over on the Dow Loggins will still be the coach.
He'll be there. 2027. I assume, boy, do you have to blow that thing up. 2028 is North Carolina and Wofford. 2029 is at North Carolina and Appalachian State. 2030 is East Carolina and NC State. 2031 is at North Carolina State. And that's all we have until you look all the way out to 2034. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
Are you tired of battling weeds? Let's face it, your weekends are precious, and you don't want to spend your weekends battling weeds, fighting a losing battle. This is Preston Thorne from Midlands Landscape and Lawns, and I'm talking to homeowners who are ready to say goodbye to their lawn care headaches. Paul Ramenstein, the proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns, has one question for you. Are you going to let weeds win this summer? Of course not. So achieve your dream with the Midlands Green Treatment Program. This isn't just lawn care. It's expert fertilization that nourishes your grass and eliminates weeds for good. No more embarrassing bare spots and no more endless weed pulling on your weekends. Just a beautiful, inviting outdoor space for you and your family to enjoy. So get a lawn you'll love. Paul Ramastein and Midlands Lawnscaping Lands handle the hard work so you don't have to. Forget the DIY headaches. Visit hateweeds.com. That's hateweeds.com or call them at 803-356-8080.
I-26 eastbound between right around the rest area, between exit 119 and 125. Kind of have a little bit of a slowdown as the right lane is blocked, slowly getting that cleaned up. But so stay to your left as you're approaching that area, I-26 eastbound before the rest area. There is a little bit of water main work happening Hardscrabble Road at Wilson Boulevard, so that is sure to slow you down a little bit in that area. Chance for a few storms maybe later today, and then that kind of ends our rain chances for a while. 85 for the high today, cloudy and 89 tomorrow, cloudy really Friday and Saturday, but we will be in the low 90s. So that will be kind of something a little bit different, especially being a little bit more dry. Right now, cloudy and 67 on the early game.
.635 as we get you up and get you going here. I don't know, good news, bad news. I was wrong. No grand slam last night. Gamecocks did rally to beat Winthrop 6-5, but no grand slam. That means now the pot, $550 for the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. If a Gamecock batter hits a grand slam, you could win all the cash in the pot, and it's up to $550. I suggest you go to 1075thegame.com and get registered today to sign up and potentially win all the cash in the pot. All we got to do is have a Gamecock batter hit a grand slam this weekend, and you could win. Each game that it doesn't happen goes up another $25, so it's $550 right now. And by the way, we will have the coverage for you. 6:45 pregame coming up on Thursday night, 7 o'clock first pitch, 6:45 on Friday night, 7 o'clock first pitch, and then Saturday, 2:45 pregame show, followed by first pitch at 3 o'clock, all at Founders Park. And as you did a couple weeks ago, roses and kudos to Derek Scott and Stuart Lakeford.
What a pro. What a pro. Even yesterday, showed up. It was not sounding good. I was running errands yesterday. It was not going great, and they still showed up, gave their all. If you want to learn how to be a pro at your job, listen to those guys this season. They deserve Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, whatever awards, Peabodys, whatever award you get for being a announcer on a very bad team, they should get it. That should be in a category. The best announcer on the worst team, because boy, did they do their job. They've
yeoman's work.
Yes. Bless them.
No kidding. And speaking of quality teams, of things that we, the things that we remember in the good days.
There's something going on. There's some spirit.
It's bigger than us. Charlie and Baylor. Let's do it for them.
That's when you knew we're meant to win.
Let me tell you a story about how two brave boys taught a team to never give up. An SEC story film, In Spirit, Wednesday, May 14th at 7 p.m. on SEC Network.
Gonna look forward to watching that.
It's a big night.
Yeah, it really is. That was such a special story because you had Charlie from the hospital in Omaha, the Children's Hospital, and then you had Baylor Teal that the team rallied around here, and it was such a phenomenal story. And then just the successful run of the team in general. It was, yeah. So anyway, I just want to remind everybody that's tonight at 7 o'clock.
There's a lot going on. Make sure you set your DVRs. We got that tonight. Well, tomorrow, but tonight, Preston Thorne has got to make a decision on a NFL team.
I will not be making a decision. I postponed it. I will make my decision when Aaron Rodgers makes a decision. When Aaron Rodgers makes a decision, I will make a decision. I've been thinking about this, and I was going to be pressured into making an artificial decision based on the NFL schedule. And you know what? I'm not going to do it. So until Aaron Rodgers makes a decision, I am withholding my fanhood until he makes a decision.
All right, hold on. There's one of two things, and I can understand both. One, he is just following Aaron Rodgers' lead, which why not? Two, he's terrified that he's going to pick a team and that Aaron Rodgers is going to go there and he's going to have to pull for Aaron Rodgers.
That's two. You're right. You know what? I hadn't considered the second outcome. I expressly am not doing that. But you're right. I will not be cheering for Aaron Rodgers. But I will until Aaron Rodgers makes a decision. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it is. Let me stay far away from him as possible.
I understand what he's doing there because it does seem like Pittsburgh is still the destination. But I can see where you're just in case something were to.
I don't want to pick that.
I understand. We will allow that. We will allow that on the second one.
I'm going to check the schedules out today. The international schedules have been they've been released. But I will be making a proclamation. It won't be today because I don't feel it in my heart yet. I don't feel it.
Remind me to get Patrick Pratt will join us in a little less than an hour at 7:30. We're going to talk hockey, but we do need to maybe get his thoughts on the Commanders.
Yeah, okay.
Get some thoughts on the Commanders. All the Commanders really need to do is sign Jadeveon Clowney now, and they've got a team full of Gamecocks as well. Wouldn't be the worst thing. Debo now, for people that forgot, Debo is now with the Commanders as well. So we'll try and get his thoughts on the Commanders.
Talk about going from one coast to the other.
Yeah, closer to home.
Yeah,
closer to home.
Good for him.
Family can now drive to see you in a weekend. 803-404-6100. Speaking of baseball and that, tonight, 7 o'clock is when the documentary will air on the SEC Network. That'll be really cool. But last night, South Carolina wins 6-5. They knock off Winthrop. We joke about it. I think that's all you can do is kind of laugh about it at this point because right now South Carolina's on the brink of one of the worst baseball seasons that they've ever had. I mean, that's where we are at, and I think the question has now moved more to, and Jamie Bradford tried to answer it, J.C. Sherbert tried to answer it a little bit, where this program is going. And Preston, you have LSU coming here this weekend, and they're number 1 in the country. If LSU gets going and stomps South Carolina, it's a fitting end, but it doesn't. I don't know what right now we could come on here and try to reassure baseball fans with that makes them feel good about 2026.
Well, yeah, that's not our job. I mean, our job is to be objective and then to be truth tellers and to show what we see. And if what we see is what's happening on the field, I don't think that's our responsibility. The responsibility of the team is to be putting forth a product that fans can feel reassured about. So, yeah, I wouldn't come up here and say that there's reasons to be more excited about moving forward until they present us with actual reasons. And what they've been presenting on the field, the product, especially for the last 4 weeks in SEC play, and then we joked, but they were right there at rock bottom last night. It was close. We've been talking. But if they would have dropped that game, which they were very much in the range of doing, then we might have been able to say, oh, yeah, this is the bottom. But they avoided it. So, yeah, that's not our responsibility is to reassure.
No, and I don't mean it like that, but I guess my point is like if we were to come in here and be like, all right, here's a positive for next season, I don't know what we would get to. I don't know what we would say.
Well, okay.
You're going to lose your best player who came back last night. I think we were all shocked to see Ethan Petrie step into a batter's box. But he was back last night. He will not be back next year. He's going to be probably a first-round pick. I don't know. And that's where I'm at with this team. It's no longer about what's going on now. It's about what is going on in the future. Fix it. Get it done. Get it done very, very quickly.
Well, yeah, we'd have to see what the fix is going to be because I still do think that the future is in flux. There's decisions that will be made coming up very shortly that will determine what the rest of the future is. Now, what those decisions are and whether you agree or disagree with them, that might determine your feelings, but we can make a determination on how we feel moving forward once those decisions are made, whether folks are staying, whether folks are leaving, players that are going in the transfer portal, what the roster is going to look like. So I still think there's a lot of information to gather from that. But just looking at where we are right now, it's a long way up to the top from where we are right now.
803-404-6100. Jen, thank you for that. Yep, reminder tonight, 7 o'clock, the SEC Storied on SEC Network in spirit. It'll be the story behind South Carolina's baseball championship runs. And Preston, Jen, boy, you think about how much our lives, your lives, just think individually, have changed, Preston, as we were just talking about, since those runs took place. It is, I've now got 2 kids since the last time South Carolina was in Omaha. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, as I've been trying to say over and over again.
Jen, your kids were what, in middle school? Were they even in middle school?
No, not yet. But yeah, they were younger. Yeah. So yeah, crazy time.
Yeah, just goes to show you that time flies. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. Into the first hour, which means it's time for Preston's Questions.
Jen, can we fire that up one more time? The big band in black that played at Hokie Stadium. Because I got a question, and I say this sincerely with all my heart. We have a date, August 31st. We have a team. We'll be playing Virginia Tech. We have a place. We'll be playing in Atlanta, unfortunately. And now we have a time. And my question is, the Battle of the Sands. Would you rather have Enter Sandman as your stadium song or Sandstorm? Enter Sandman versus Sandstorm. Would you rather? And Bill, you stated earlier that this was one of your favorite songs. You played it on repeat.
Correct.
Would you rather have Enter Sandman as your stadium song or Sandstorm? What you got? Well,
I like the song. I like this, though. This is, I don't know if I care for this song, but I care for this entrance.
In the energy of a game, I think there's something really cool about Enter Sandman. You know, like it's kind of it's dramatic. But this definitely has an energy level to it.
Yeah. Good call.
803-404-6100. Enter Sandman versus Sandstorm. What would you rather have? I feel a lot of garnet-colored glasses in the studio.
But when you say what would you rather have, you're referring to...
For a stadium entrance.
Sandstorm.
Okay.
Sandstorm, hands down. No, Enter Sandman's great song. Love it.
You don't think it's better for an entrance?
No.
Okay.
But Enter Sandman kind of makes you think of the entrance for the Bulls. You know, the same.
There's a little bit to it. There's a little bit to that.
Because, again, that has some drama as well.
There's some drama to that. Enter Sandman versus Sandstorm. What would you rather have? 803-404-6100. Also, if those are not the top two songs for stadium entrances, what is? If those are not the top one or two, what is the best stadium entrance song? And maybe let's not limit it to entrance. Stadium songs that are synonymous with stadiums. So there could be other songs. Obviously, they have songs up in West Virginia. I have my vote, which I'll reveal here in a second. But songs that are synonymous with stadiums. If these aren't the 1 and 2, what are?
Please don't say Rocky Top.
Rocky Top's good, man.
I know.
Rocky Top's good. I hate to say it. I whisper it on the radio so nobody hears us.
Right.
I'm just gonna. You have to be on the You have to be on the live stream to see me nodding.
Everybody gather around.
Nodding.
I know.
Rocky Top is good.
Best thing I've ever done in my life is in high school. I was playing my buddy Todd Kirkland in one of the college football games, and I had, what was it, Kazaa or LimeWire or whatever. And every time I got to recreate the actual experience of Tennessee, I was Tennessee. Every time that I would get a first down, I would reach over and punch the computer button and play Rocky Top on my speaker. Remember those days when you had the actual PC and you had to have the actual speakers and everything?
It's probably a long time ago. long time.
I would hit it. He got very annoyed very quickly because I was getting many first downs. But it was real life. I felt like it was I was at my house. I felt like it was real. It was a real life situation. Rocky Top's good. The one actually I think that you just mentioned is the Bulls, and I don't know what song that is.
What is it? Serious? It's from Alan Parsons Project. It's like the intro to Eye in the Sky, basically.
Okay. I think you're right. And Preston, you asked a good question. Now you got me kind of thinking songs that are completely relevant to the stadium. I mean, everybody uses, what is it, Seven Nation Army by Jack White? Is that's the other kind of techno song is kind of what you would you label that?
You'll hear those during the game, or hear that during the game.
You were saying...
my favorite hands down is third quarter Florida Gators, Tom Petty, Won't Back Down.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's my favorite.
Oh,
they just started that a couple years ago. They started the year when he passed away, and they did it the game after, and it's been a tradition since. That's my favorite hands down. But songs that are synonymous with stadiums, 803-404-6100.
Right before you said that, there was going to be another. Well, what time is it? Let's. We're a little bit closer to. We're a little bit closer to 7. Let's not go with the other one I was going to say. Let's just say LSU though.
LSU has a solid one. LSU does.
We'll just go with the song that LSU plays that is specific to what they like to.
LSU has a solid one.
So anyway, yeah, 803-404. I like that. Send in. I did. Yeah, this one I think actually was the first one I went to. Actually, before Rocky Top. Because I think Sandstorm has become synonymous with Williams-Brice.
Yeah, some other schools. I think Purdue uses it too, but it's like no, we win. This is to me. This is the way to come into.
And now for your Chicago Bulls, starting at point guard, Lonzo Ball.
All right, couple
doesn't quite have the same.
Doesn't work the same. This is a good one. I forgot about this one. This one actually might be the best. Jump around at Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Solid
The
one.
jump around, yeah. The jump around. Good text in there. 2001 at night in Willie B is unmatched. And I like Virginia Tech Enter the Sandman. Definitely better than rubbing a stupid rock. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
As many of y'all. Sandstorm all day long. Too many big moments in Willie B. 803-404-6100. Country Roads for West Virginia. Forgot about that?
Mm-hmm.
I remember Buzz Williams dancing to that back in the day. We will do another hour. Patrick Pratt do up at 7:30. It's the early game. There was one other I was about to say, and I already forgot.
Press here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshield, no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are. School, home, work, it does not matter. Absolute Glass will come out there and take care of it for you. Now, if you're at home, you're looking to increase the value of your home, you can do that with new windows or mirrors. And Absolute Glass will take care of the value for you, too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Traffic-wise, we are looking at just really one thing out there on I-26 eastbound around between exit 119 and 125, kind of around the Rust area. Getting things cleaned up. The right lane has been blocked. That should be cleared up pretty soon, but just stay left as you're venturing through that area. Hardscrabble Road at Wilson Boulevard. They're doing a little water main work, so that could be slowing things down in that area. So, again, that's Hardscrabble at Wilson Boulevard. And one more day of chances for rain. Might see some storms coming in this afternoon. A little bit of chance for rain later this morning, but then we get rid of all that. High of 85 today, and then partly cloudy for really the rest of the week and into the weekend. And we're looking at highs in the upper 80s, even could hit 92 on Friday.
Up and at 'em as we get you going here on your Wednesday morning. Hump day for most of us. Preston Thorne's hump day is on Thursday. This is like the one that let's get past this day, and then Thursday's easy, Friday's simple, and we're into the middle of the month. Can y'all believe this, that we're almost halfway through May? I mean, we're going to be blink. 109 days. Preston started our countdown today. 109 days away from the start of college football season.
We are right.
Well, from
we are right
South
here.
Carolina's game,
Yep.
I guess.
We are close.
So that would make it 101 until the week 0. Is that quick math? 8 days. 8 subtract a Sunday. Subtract 8 from 109. Does that seem right?
I don't think so, because the first week would be or week 0 would be Saturday, right?
Yeah, the 23rd, August 22nd, I believe, actually. But yeah, so we are before you know it. So tomorrow will be 100 days away from college football. How about that? So we've started our countdown. 109 days though until South Carolina and Virginia Tech will meet, and we now know for sure 3:00 ESPN on a Sunday, August the 31st. Actually, it was Saturday. It was the 23rd, so I was incorrect on that. But August the 31st in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It'll be a 2-game day, South Carolina and Virginia Tech. That will be followed by Notre Dame and Miami, 7:30 on ABC. But South Carolina, Virginia Tech, we know the game time. For the record, if you want to go over, I don't know what the hotel situation is, Preston, and this is actually kind of important to mark because it's not like South Carolina and Virginia Tech are the only two teams playing that weekend. Noon game, as we learned yesterday, between Tennessee and Syracuse at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of folks in town. Obviously, Atlanta's a huge city; it can handle it. But you probably want to get on that if you're going to do that here coming up soon.
Yeah, I guess I'm being specific and a bit of a hotel snob. I'm thinking strictly about the Omni, which is right there next to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You could tailgate there. They have I think it was 2 or 3 little bars in there. They've got a nice little seafood restaurant next door to it, and you could go there and then wander on over to the stadium at 3:00. Or you could do probably what I'll do, which is drive over that morning, hop in the car, 9:30. That's a reasonable time. Boogie on over, get over there about 12:30, maybe 1:00. Do a little tailgate and wander in the stadium at 3:00 and come on back that evening. It sounds great in theory right now as I'm not doing it, doesn't it?
Man. I-20 is a beast. There's two couple stretches on 20 where it's like, man, is this road going to end? Where am I? How far is this place? I've underestimated that. I've made that drive to Atlanta a lot of times. Many of those times I've underestimated how far it actually is. It's like once you get to Georgia, it's like, oh, I'm not. You mean I'm not in Atlanta yet? You just keep going and going. Woo.
Totally understand.
Hopefully, after a victory, you'll be pumped.
You'll be able to.
Or maybe you'll be driven by anger. So maybe you'll be propelled by anger up the road. So
That
You know
can
what?
help.
Maybe the drive back from the game will be easy because you'll be either pumped up because we won or you'll be pedo because we lost. So one or the other.
I've driven that, and I've actually driven it at about 1:30 in the morning. I was traveling for work, and flight was delayed. Had to get back. I was stuck in Atlanta for the night. It's like, I've got to get back for something else here, and I'm having to rent a car driving in the middle of the night. It is a long, long drive, and apparently there was a gentleman who had some red and blue lights on his vehicle. Felt that maybe I was trying to get home a little too quickly. It's like, dude, nobody's on the road.
He
Just
gave
let
you
me
a
go.
driving ticket or a driving prize?
A driving prize, yes. Well, actually, it was just gave me the opportunity to not make that mistake again, or I would get the prize.
Yeah.
So
I've received one of those too. And also on that stretch, there's a lot of towns who count on you. Giving you those driving prizes.
Exactly.
So it's why it's extra treacherous going back that road.
it sure can be. Oh.
All right, so that's our most important thing of the day. Gamecocks and Hokies, 3 o'clock ESPN. We now know the time. Again, that'll highlight a great weekend. We also learned several other game times yesterday for opening weekend from ABC and ESPN. Again, I mentioned Tennessee Syracuse will lead us off at noon on ABC. 3:30 on ABC will be Alabama, Florida State, and 7:30 that night will be LSU, Clemson. And I feel like Clemson fans, that guarantees you're going to get College Game Day in your town to start the season.
Yeah, rightfully so. Rightfully so. I think that as we said, I think that's the best game of the weekend.
Well, you got Texas, Ohio State too. We just don't know the time of it.
Yeah.
Julian saying should be starting quarterback for Ohio State. Texas will be debuting Arch Manning. We don't know the time just yet, but we know that game will be on Fox, and we are assuming that they're going to, I guess officially they have not put out the time. Preston, you said it might have been leaked that it was going to be the big noon kickoff game, but that is the other monstrous game that day. Ohio State already a 3-point favorite, by the way, in that, but Texas at Ohio State. So you figure game day, what do they do? I doubt they chase the Fox noon kickoff, big noon kick, whatever the Fox show is. I don't know, but that's your other monstrous game for the day. You do have Charleston Southern Vanderbilt, by the way, if you want to get into that. But that's pretty much what you got going.
Well, there's other story in the background about with Lee Corso's retirement, whether they were going to make it that
go to Florida State.
So there's that with as far as game day is concerned. I don't know, but I think composite wise, the battle of the two Tigers for my money is for me it's the most interesting game.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, we talked earlier about home and homes against neutral sites. Clemson will make a return trip to Baton Rouge in 2026. And Clemson fans, if you've never been, buckle up. It's a trip.
Yeah, those are two fan bases I like to see collide because the Clemson fan base tends to see themselves as very pious and very much on the line, and the other Tigers do not. And so I see a lot of Clemson fans clutching pearls as they go down the Baton Rouge.
You're going to need to. Let me tell you, y'all, you will need to. I've been there. I've been there twice. It is a quite the scene. A couple of y'all weighing in this morning. Harry goes with game day will be at Florida State or Ohio State. Alumni material or Ohio State was his first headgear pick.
Right.
Another text was saying hearing game day will be in Tallahassee because Corso's last game. So we'll see. And I know it's his alma mater. What do they call him? The Sunshine Scooter. Is that right? So that was our most important thing of the day, though. The game times from yesterday. Also, last night, playoffs. That's right, playoffs. Pacers eliminate the Cavaliers, and Preston and I were sitting here. Actually, I'm still sitting here looking at it. Boy, they're really going all sporty sports this morning. Has the Cavaliers season been a failure?
It's always a good question to ask when you win that many games in the regular season and you get eliminated early in the playoffs. That is a question to ask. I still suggest that it's still fun being a Cavaliers fan now because it's still a surprise. They're still on the upswing.
You just can't be cavalier about it.
Not yet, right?
Not yet.
You could be now, but not moving forward. They're still on the upswing. It's still fun. But this is the first heartbreak you have to face as a fan. This is when you have to look yourself in the eye and say, okay, am I a bandwagon fan that just was here for all the winning, or do I want to see this team to the next level? So I don't think it was a failure because most people can't even name many players on the Cleveland Cavaliers team. So from that perspective, it's not as if they had a huge upside and they got let everybody down. But I see the Cleveland Cavaliers much the same way I see the Detroit Lions in football. That was fun. Great. Awesome story. Next year, you got to win something. You got to go a little bit deeper next year.
Yeah, the thing with the Lions, though, is their coach was a character. You just mentioned it. How many people can name players on the who can name the Cavaliers coach?
I can, unfortunately. I can't.
Mike Brown?
I can't pick him out of a lineup. That's the difference. I know his name, but if you put him in a lineup, I don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing. But the playoffs last night. Other big news last night. Jason Tatum. It's now official. He is done for the season. Achilles tear. A ruptured Achilles. Preston and I were talking about this off air. Austin, my son, has gone through an ACL. Or is going through an ACL injury. He's only 13, but Achilles that's the bad one. That's the one you really don't want.
There's really, because you think about what your Achilles does for your body. It's the one that
I don't think people know.
Well, I've got a clue for you. Take your ankle, reach in the back, and feel that long, big tendon back there, and flex your foot. You see it flexing? Anytime you want to jump, move, explode, sprint, that controls all of it. And when that is not going well, think of it like a rubber band. Can you use a rubber band when it has no spring back? No, you cannot. So that's going to be the issue moving forward for Tatum. A lot of players do not come back. I mean, people would argue that, even though he was a little bit older, KD was never the same. Mm-hmm. Kobe had to adjust his game when he came back. That is going old school. Y'all remember when Dominique Wilkins tore his Achilles? That was pretty much the end of it. So it's a tough battle. Tatum
underwent surgery yesterday to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon that he suffered in what they're saying. I wasn't really watching at that point, but in one of the best playoff games of his career, 16 of 28 shooting for 42 points in that game, and then goes down with the injury.
He had 42 at that point. And I will say that all of the Kobe stands managed to come out of the woodworks when they pointed out that when Kobe tore his Achilles,
he shot the free
throws and walked off the court.
And yeah, Tatum had to be carried off the court. Anyway. But also last night, just for the record, and we'll do this more tomorrow, Braves win again. They beat up on Patrick Pratt's Nationals. Preston, budding Braves season. Ronald Acuna Jr. started some rehab yesterday. Braves have won 2 in a row. They are now 500, 21-21, 6.5 back of the Mets. They have to catch the Phillies, who they're 3 back of. But keep an eye on that. Just keep an eye on it. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. Speaking of Patrick Pratt, we'll catch up with him coming up at 7:30 this morning. But up next, NFL is going international. Preston Thorne will tell you all about it. You're listening to The Early Game. Bill Gunner from Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years they've been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And it's that history, 30 years worth of history, that is your assurance that their professionals will provide the proper advice, the service, and the results to the needs of your facility. And they're going to do it in a manner both safe and pleasing to you and your operation. That's why if you've got a leak, you need to let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. Give them a phone call today, 803-356-1919, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mid-State Roofing is there to help you with a maintenance contract. Again, all you got to do is give them a phone call. You'll speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee. Again, that phone number, 803-356-1919. You just need to tell them Bill Gunner sent you. So whether you're here in Columbia, Florence, Aiken, Myrtle Beach, Augusta, Greenville, Charleston, wherever you're at in this great state, Mid-State Roofing is there for you. 803-356-1919. That's Mid-State Roofing.
things starting to get back to normal. I-26 eastbound around the rest area, about mile marker 121. But prior to that, obviously, they had been getting it down to keeping people to the left because the right lane has been blocked. There is also some water main work that is happening Hardscrabble Road at Wilson Boulevard due to a water main break. So that's going to slow things down in that area. And as far as your forecast goes, one more day with some rain on the mines, maybe a couple showers in passing later this morning maybe, and then maybe this afternoon a couple storms. 85 for the high, 89 tomorrow with some clouds, and 92 for your Friday. But again, no other rain in the forecast after today. 68 currently on the early game.
$7:18 on a Wednesday morning, May the 14th, as we get you up and get you going here. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. And tonight, the NFL schedule release. A lot going on. Also, again, reminder, the South Carolina baseball documentary In Spirit taking place at 7 o'clock on the SEC network. You can check that out. But you've also got the NFL schedule release, Preston Thorne, and that is something I know that you just can't wait for. You're going to have big food plans and all kinds of special things going on at the Thorne House.
Well, the NFL schedule release was going to be my official signing day for my team, but I've decided to postpone that, much in the spirit of Jadeveon Clowney. Some of the greats, I'm going to postpone my hat ceremony. I'm not going to pick my team as of yet. I'm going to wait till Aaron Rodgers picks his team before he picks his team. And in the case that he does not pick a team, I will pick a team before the season starts. But the big thing about the NFL is they dominate the calendar. They like to win it all. Even yesterday on the NBA playoff night, they're like, oh, yeah, let's just drop this internationals. Let's leak, in air quotes, the international schedule. So the international schedule comes out. And what we've seen is that the NFL is trying to enforce world domination.
Yeah, taking over everything.
They're trying to take over the world. They want the calendar. They want the geography.
All right.
They're going everywhere. So this year they're expanding, and they'll be playing 7 games internationally. So this is what we know prior to the full schedule dropping. Now, here's what I want to do. I'm going to go through these places first. Let's go through the places first. They'll be playing in Sao Paulo, Brazil. They'll be playing in Dublin, Ireland. They'll be playing in London. Mm-hmm. They'll be playing in Berlin, and they'll be playing in Madrid, Spain. Out of those places, which one is the place that is most appealing to you?
Probably Madrid, maybe Brazil, but I've heard Brazil's like wildly dangerous. So
yeah,
I'd probably go Madrid. Like of what you just said, I mean, there's all of them I'd love to visit. Don't get me wrong, but I think Madrid seems the most mysterious.
Okay, so if you're gonna go if you go into Madrid, you would be seeing the Washington Commanders versus the Miami Dolphins.
I get on board
on
with
November 16th.
Yep.
You'll be okay with that?
I'd be okay with that.
All right. So who would be your second pick? What place would be your?
Are you
second
asking
pick?
me the second place or the second game?
Second place.
Well, I would actually probably, the stadium's supposed to be really nice, and it's growing on me as a place I want to visit. I'd probably go with going to London to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
That'd probably be my pick because that's a team I'm a fan of, even though I might be in the transfer portal for that also.
Oh, wow.
But if you was going there, you would be seeing the Minnesota Vikings versus the Cleveland Browns, or the Denver Broncos versus the New York Jets. So those are the games there. So there are a lot of teams that playing. The Vikings are the only teams who seem to be playing. If I'm looking up here, they seem to be playing twice overseas. And what they're going to do is they're playing back-to-back. This is the first time this is going to happen, right?
Yeah, historic for the Vikings. Apparently, they're an international team.
So the Vikings will be playing international.
Apparently, they're loaded with international players. And lo and behold, did we know the Vikings making a return to Ireland and to London to take over, and apparently they're well beloved over there.
So they play in Dublin on September 28th. They're going to stay in Europe and just go to London and play on October 5th. So I guess, they tried to make the travel a little bit easier for them. The going from Dublin to London is shorter than, say, if they were going from Minnesota to Seattle or something like that. So the geography is not the same, but it's going to be kind of tough being away from home for that amount of time. But they did try and accommodate them. But the whole point is the NFL is expanding. Now, what's really interesting is in the first game, we have the Chargers versus the Chiefs. That game will be streamed exclusively on YouTube. Why on YouTube, NFL? Because everybody has YouTube. Everywhere is YouTube. And it will be free over the internet so everybody can see the glorious game. The NFL's not stupid. They are a money-making machine, and this is another step for them to attempt to make more and more money.
No, it's amazing the difference between the NFL and Major League Baseball in terms of how they market their products, right? Like, I don't think we were really, you and I in particular, we're thrilled to have live sports on. Like tomorrow, I'll probably have at 7 a.m. on my computer. ESPN Plus will have the PGA Championship. It won't be on television, I think, until noon. But when we were sitting here and it was the Cubs, Jen was excited too, I think, although they weren't playing particularly well at that point. But we had the Cubs and the Dodgers on television in the, was it the Tokyo series, I believe, is what it was. And we loved that. We had no clue what was actually going on, though. Major League Baseball is just like, yeah, there's some guys that went over to Japan and they're playing baseball over there. Tune in if you want. The NFL, on the other hand, does not have that problem. They shoot off fireworks. They have sparklers. They have people with banners running around. They make sure you know what's going on with their teams, when they're playing, where they're playing. They have a huge schedule release. NFL is incredible at marketing. I mean, like, whoever does the marketing, they are phenomenal, where then you compare and contrast that to Major League Baseball. It's kind of wild. It really is kind of wild.
Yeah, they're schooling the MLB big time because and especially with baseball, who needs to be growing and trying to appeal to younger audiences, they're not doing it yet. They're not working on it.
Yeah, and the thing about baseball is they always say, well, they didn't have the stars. Well, they have the stars. There are a lot of really cool, interesting players right now in Major League Baseball. They just don't do a great job of it. With the NFL trying to accomplish world domination, watch out, college football. NFL has games in December on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Well, they're starting to mess with Thanksgiving weekend. And,
Black
Christmas.
Friday. Black Friday was the big one. They merged on into Black Friday, which was a big college football day.
Yep.
They're kind of like, we got this. You don't need it. We'll handle the viewing for everybody. Y'all don't need to worry about it.
Not cool.
Taking over all the calendar spots.
It's really interesting what you do see them doing and how they're handling everything. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. Patrick Perrette will join us. We don't have a game tonight, but the Capitals and the Capitals and the Hurricanes, it's going well for me. Not so well for Patrick. Well for me. And then we'll also get his thoughts on something we just talked about, the Commanders. 803-404-6100 is the early game. Bill Gunner for Old Timey Meat Market. Let me tell you what, the weekend is not far away. I can see it just around the corner, and that means grilling out with the family, Ansley and Austin. And I can go ahead and tell you, that means a stop by Old Timey Meat Market, where Austin's going to pick up a steak. Always does. Always gets the bacon-wrapped filet. Ansley's going to probably go with some salmon. She loves their salmon, loves the marinated salmon. Go find out for yourself what's great at Old Timey Meat Market. The reason they stand out to us is because it's a non-grocery store meat buying experience. You go in there, the butchers know you. They know your family. They want to talk to you. They want to discuss some of the products that they have, some of the great cuts of meat, whether it's pork chops, chicken, steak. I mentioned salmon. You can get hamburgers and hot dogs. They have everything you need. Maybe you want oysters or scallops. Old Timey Meat Market and their 3 locations has you covered. So stop by today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you. St. Andrews Road in Irmo, South Congaree, or, of course, the Lexington store. Stop by Old Timey Meat Market and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Water main work continues. Hard scrabble at Wilson Boulevard, so maybe avoid that area if you can. And I-26 eastbound between exit 119 and 125, stay left as they finish cleaning up an earlier accident. One more day of a little bit of rain in the forecast. Could see a couple showers passing later this morning, maybe a thunderstorm this afternoon, but then that should wrap that up. 85 for the high, 89 tomorrow, 92 with clouds on Friday. Right now, though, cloudy, 68 on the early game.
$7:31 on a Wednesday morning. Hope you're doing well. Jen Jensen, Preston Thorne, Bill Gunners, we get you up and get you going here. And joined now by the one and only Patrick Perrette, making another appearance. Yeah, we got to start getting him back in here more often. Unfortunately, Patrick, we're bringing you back because the Capitals are playing the Hurricanes. And it's going well for me, not so much for you.
Is that still going on? I thought we were talking about the college lacrosse quarterfinals this weekend. Well, that's what I was here to preview.
We got you.
Cornell's got a really good squad. Really good. Might be 2 Ivy League teams in the Final Four.
Did I honestly see that Syracuse had some kind of epic comeback this past weekend?
Oh, yeah. It actually drove me crazy because I hate Syracuse, too. They're just the copyest fan base in lacrosse, and Harvard was up 8-2 at halftime, and just Harvard kind of got screwed. But, yeah, Syracuse, it was pretty epic.
Well, while we're here, Patrick Spencer, he's going to be moving on to the third round. This guy is incredible, right?
Oh, my gosh, he's amazing. Yeah, he's he was, at the time, arguably the greatest college lacrosse player of all time.
Right.
And, unfortunately, lacrosse has dealt with that a couple times. So, a lot of our best players, there's a guy for the Falcons, I don't even know if he even made the team, Jake Bernhardt, who won the Tuarton Award, the Heisman of lacrosse, and then went to play football. So, it is unfortunate, but it's kind of cool for lacrosse to be getting some national spotlight, and he's getting lots of minutes.
He's getting
never in a million years saw that coming.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of burn right now, for sure.
He wasn't even that good at Northwestern. I really did not expect that at all, but good for him. Freak athlete.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've lost control of the segment. We're 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
Real quick. All right. Who is left? Syracuse, Cornell, and who else have we got here in the college lacrosse playoffs?
Cornell's playing Richmond. Syracuse plays Princeton. Maryland plays Georgetown. That's probably the game of the weekend, and then Penn State and Notre Dame. But we can actually talk about hockey. It's okay. I don't need to divert it that much.
I appreciate everything you do for us. I know I actually mentioned a couple weeks ago that you would be fired up for Memorial Day weekend because Jen goes off to the Indy 500. You've got your college lacrosse. Mm-hmm. It's a huge weekend coming up for you. It's a big month. It's a big month as a whole. But
I love Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, I think lacrosse does it very, very well. They play their semifinals on Saturday at Memorial Day weekend and the championship on Monday. And then the Division II and Division III teams play on Sunday, and it's a whole weekend, all same location. It's a very niche weekend. There's not too much other stuff going on, so they fit it right in there perfectly, and it gets a lot of eyeballs.
There you go. You learned something there, Preston?
Oh, I'm locked in on lacrosse, man.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, my cousin played lacrosse, so I'm here. I've been up to Duke to watch lacrosse. I've seen several games. I'm here for it.
Okay, all right. Well,
I thought Notre Dame's got a kid from North Augusta, I think.
Okay. Didn't see this coming this morning, but we will start a new segment with Preston and Patrick. College lacrosse talk for y'all ready for this summer.
We can do it exactly one more week, and then the season will be over.
Yeah, well, we might have to carry it through a little bit. You guys might have to come up with stuff because we certainly aren't going to be getting a whole lot of information out of baseball or much discussion there. By the way, real quick, have you followed South Carolina baseball this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just an absolute joke. I just saw that they somehow made it through the entire year without losing to a mid-major, which if you saw that, you would think, oh, they must be having a pretty good season. No. But it has allowed me more time to watch hockey and basketball and other things and lots of soccer and all that stuff. So it hasn't – I mean, it hasn't been appointment viewing. And if I don't have to go on the radio and talk about it, then I don't have to sit through 9 innings of it. So I feel lucky in that regard.
Very good. Very good. All right, well, let's get to what we brought you on, though, for. Hockey it's a lot of fun right now. Let me ask you this. If you watched everything, Who would you have as the favorite to win the Stanley Cup right now?
I think I have Dallas. Mikko Rantanen, the way he's playing, has just been so insane. But honestly, like at this point, I think Carolina actually is the betting favorite. But just like at their best, I feel like Dallas. Edmonton looks really, really good, and their offense is so explosive, but their goaltending is just horrendous. So that's who I would put my money on at this stage.
Yeah, Dallas last night wins 3-1. Speaking of, do you feel we're heading for a Hurricane Stars final?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, anybody can beat anybody at this point. I do think those probably are the best teams. I worry about Toronto if they make it through. Florida's super physical, but I kind of feel like Carolina could do to Florida what they're doing to Washington, because I just really did not see this coming. Like, everybody knew that it was going to be two conflicting styles, that Washington was going to be physical, try to win on the boards. Carolina was just going to come at you, fire a million shots, play super aggressive, try and win the puck back on the forecheck all the time. And I really thought that the Capitals would be better equipped to handle it, or just more ready for it. In game one, I mean, they just were completely blitzed and had no response. And it's seemingly been the same way the entire series. So part of me thinks that it's just a bad matchup, but part of me thinks that Carolina might just have this thing figured out right now. They're so much more conditioned than everyone else in the playoffs, and Florida, if they get through this, would be another tough series and would just be tired, and Carolina can just come after them. So, I mean, especially if Carolina takes care of business tomorrow night and they've got a extra 3, 4, whatever it is, days rest, I definitely think they could be on a trajectory for the Stanley Cup Finals for sure.
Our good buddy, Dr. Greg Little over at Midlands Technical College, he's a big Hurricanes fan, went up this weekend and caught a game. He does not like your guy, Tom Wilson. Your take on Tom Wilson and the way he plays?
Well, I mean, everybody in the league is going to hate playing against him, but everybody in the league would want him on their team, and he's the definition of that type of player. He is our best player. He's like the one guy in this series that has not been overwhelmed. He's amazing. He's always been tough. He's always been physical, but this year he has had his best offensive season ever. He scored 30 goals and was just overall probably the best player on our team. He's fantastic. I mean, he plays physical and no one's going to like it, but Carolina, like, the reason the Capitals fans were confident going into this series is because Carolina, like, no one in hockey is actually soft, but Carolina is not an ultra physical team. They're smaller, they're faster, they rely on finesse and not physicality. So I thought guys like Tom Wilson were going to come in there and just completely dominate the series physically. And he's held up his end of the bargain, but no one else has. Ovechkin's looked like he's 60 years old. He's just a complete non-factor in the series other than a 5-on-3 power play. But no, I'd love Tom Wilson. Anyone in the league would love Tom Wilson on their team. And no one can make the argument anymore, which it used to be a couple years ago, that he's just a brute and a bad hockey player. Nowadays, he's just a very well-rounded, and he's probably, one of the 10 to 15 most valuable players in the league at this point. Certainly in the playoffs, he's been the Capitals' most valuable player.
He is Patrick Perrette. He is our hockey aficionado. A couple years ago, he got to celebrate watching Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals win the Stanley Cup. Now he is having to watch them go down in flames to my Carolina Hurricanes, who I will now proudly claim. But let's ask you about...
That was my first day running the board, Bill. The first day I ever ran the board for the early game was the day after the Capitals won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, there was a lot of mistakes. You had celebrated very... Did you? I think you were the only one in the fountain that night at down in 5 Points.
Yeah.
They thought you were just some random guy.
Wearing my soggy jersey. Yeah, I was still wearing the soggy sweater in the morning too. Hadn't slept and came in there and ran the board.
I've gotten to experience some great moments with you and Jen. You saw your Nationals be very successful. You saw the Capitals be very successful. We've been around when Jen. Were you here when Jen's Cubs won the World Series?
No, not yet. I don't think.
Not yet?
Yeah, maybe not. That was because it was 16.
Oh, 16? Yeah. Golly, was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow. Time flies. I feel like that's the theme of the show this morning. Let's ask you real quick. Preston brought up NFL going international with these games. Give us the thought on your Commanders. We didn't ask you about this last week, getting Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, look, they made a couple moves that are definitely win-now moves that are high-risk moves. I mean, Deebo is a total lottery ticket at this point. If they get what he was 3 years ago, then it's an absolute home run, and he changes everything about your offense. If they get the Debo of last year, then he's going to only play a handful of games, and I mean he's getting up there in age, and it hasn't been an easy career. It's not like he's not like a possession or a slot receiver that just like gets the ball and gets down. I mean, it's been a physical career, and the 49ers ran the heck out of him. So I hope that he can be what he was when the 49ers were going to Super Bowls and whatnot, but I love the way he complements Terry McLaurin. Their skill sets are real different and I think work perfectly together. But everything the Commanders did was just go all in on Jaden Daniels while he's on a rookie contract. You trade for a left tackle in Laramie Tunsil that's already 30 years old, and you trade for Deebo Samuel, and you just build with veterans. I can't say that I hate it, and you always want to like build through the draft and have rookies that can play out their entire careers. But at a certain point, you got a superstar quarterback who's on a rookie deal. You got to just go hard with veterans and guys that are ready to win now. So I love it. And I don't know what Debo's going to be. I don't know what he's capable of, but I think he's got a chip on his shoulder ever since the way things ended in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, Laramie Tunsil's obviously the epitome of just keep playing through it. All right, regardless of what happens, you just become a superstar, and nobody will remember whatever was going down. That's a great pickup for them. Do you believe Cliff Kingsbury is with his new approach towards offense? Do you believe that he's going to be the guy that can take y'all to make the next step as far as the offense is concerned?
I think so. I mean, there was a run where the Commanders lost a couple games last year where people were like, this is where Cliff gets figured out. Because throughout his career, there's been like get off to a hot start and then a stall on offense stalls out. But last year, I mean, they really figured it out. I think he and Jaden have a great connection. So I'm super confident in Cliff. I think he's perfect as a coordinator. I think he was thrust into the NFL and thrown in as a head coach, a young head coach, and was just not ready for all that entailed. So I absolutely have full confidence in him as a coordinator. My biggest fear is just things go well, and then you get what Detroit's got with Ben Johnson leaving and Aaron Glenn leaving, and you're going to be replacing coordinators all the time. So I do worry about that. It's why people really want offensive head coaches, because in LA, you're always going to have Sean McVay there, and your offense is always going to be clicking on all cylinders. Whereas if you have a defensive-minded head coach and you have a great offense, I mean, Cliff Kingsbury could easily be a head coach somewhere this time next year and work.
Okay, last year was a lot of fun. Last year was a lot of fun. It was unexpected. You rode the roller coaster. As a fan this year, do you have expectations, and will this year be as much fun as last year's was?
I don't think it can be as fun because it truly came out of nowhere. Like I when we were playing in the NFC Championship, I still couldn't believe it. I couldn't wrap my mind around we were one game away from the Super Bowl, because I've seen one playoff win in my entire lifetime. And this is easily the first time that I've gone in legitimately saying like, wow, we could actually be a Super Bowl contender this year. So it's actually, I think, going to be stressful. Like I usually have nothing to lose when I'm watching NFL football at this point. So I think I'm going to be very nervous the entire time.
For me, I just remember you guys being really good with Robert Griffin III, and then it falling apart exceptionally quick. So I
fall apart immediately. Yeah.
I feel like Jaden Daniels, I don't know if he will be the same or not. Patrick, we always appreciate it, man. A lot of good insight. College lacrosse, hockey, NFL, you've covered all the bases, and we learned now that Preston Thorne we've got to have a lacrosse segment more often.
Yeah, it is an awesome time of the year for sports. Championships all over the place, playoffs all over the place. We got Champions League coming up next week.
Yep.
Every sport has something going on right now. So if you're only watching football and baseball, you're missing out on a lot of amazing sports this time of year.
I don't disagree, and now that makes me also think we'll have to have you back on for a little soccer talk, especially with Coach Annan when we get him back in studio.
Oh, yeah. Happy to do it.
Always glad to hear from you, buddy. You have a great rest of the day.
All right. Talk to you next time.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care. Patrick Perrett joining us as he will do from time to time now. We'll get him back in soccer, lacrosse, NFL football. He had it all covered. He was prepared this morning, Preston.
He's
very
ready
prepared. Ready to go. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in if you want to do so. We'll come back, and we'll get back into what's going on tonight in Storied, or in Spirit, the Gamecock baseball documentary. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Zero Rest, carpet and air duct cleaning. Let me tell you something. Summertime's just around the corner. That means the kids are going to be home all the time. They're going to be tracking stuff into the house, dirt, grass, all kinds of crazy things. Who knows, maybe even critters. You don't want that on your carpets, your rugs, your tile, and upholstery. You want to make them look nice. You want people to be able to come over, to sit down, to enjoy your home. Zerorez, with their patented ZR water technology, understands that. That's why their cleaning system does not leave behind any sticky, soapy residue. It doesn't leave any harsh chemicals on your carpet. You can feel comfortable with people walking around on it, sitting on it, maybe the kids rolling around on it. So call today and line up your May cleaning. Mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for just $119. Again, that's 3 rooms cleaned for just $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game. So give me a phone call, 803-262-4020, or book online, ZerorezColumbia.com. Zerorez, all they leave is clean.
there's something going on. There's some spirit.
It's bigger than us. Charlie and Baylor. Let's do it for them.
That's when you knew we're meant to win.
Let me tell you a story about how two brave boys taught a team to never give up. An SEC story film, In Spirit, Wednesday, May 14th at 7 p.m. on SEC Network.
That is tonight, the In Spirit documentary on SEC Network, 7 o'clock, and it'll take us down a path, both, I think, both emotionally and just remembering really good times. Let me just give you some names. Christian Walker, Scotty Wingo, Brady Thomas, Evan Marzilli, Adrian Morales, Robert Berry, Peter Mooney, some dude named Jackie Bradley Jr.
Keep them coming.
Adam Matthews.
Yep.
Michael Roth.
Good times. What a beard. Michael Roth had a nice beard.
Matt Price.
No, it was Matt that had the beard.
Matt had Jake Williams. So many names, and again tonight that'll be on in Preston. That team. I'm looking at the 2010 roster. 55-14.
How'd they do in midweeks? Did they lose any midweeks? I bet you they didn't go undefeated in midweeks.
No, you know what they did do? They won 22 SEC games. They went 22-8. South Carolina needs to go 3-0 this weekend to get to 8-22.
Tomato. What about the midweeks?
Oh boy, yeah, it'll be fun to watch that tonight. Probably be a little emotional, just one because of the stories of Baylor Teal and everything there. He was the local young man that was a part of that, and then you had
Charlie from the Children's Hospital in Omaha.
Yeah.
So it was both of their stories, and sadly, Baylor lost his battle before they won that 2010 the first championship, and but he was such an inspiration to them, and then that's what drove them to really fight to get that and to get that first win. But it was just a lot of really personal, touching elements that went into the fun of baseball, but it just was so much bigger than baseball.
Those were different teams.
Yeah.
You know, Preston, I think a lot of people relate back to your freshman season in the 2000 year as being one of the more special football teams for the University of South Carolina. Obviously, on the heels of 1-21 and the turnaround, beating Georgia, beating Mississippi State. Even the egregious push off by Rod Gardner up there.
Still want to sue him.
Yeah. That's our sports lawsuit segment there. But yeah, there's I think these two teams. I think it would be interesting to do a conversation on your favorite teams from South Carolina, because I think your 2000 team would stand out. The 2001 team probably better.
Better team.
Yes. Obviously better record, but better team. But I think the 2000 team is the one that stands out to everybody.
Well, because, when you think about the teams, there's all the other stories that are going on around the team. There's do the players have the personalities? What's going on with the coaching staff? What's going on in the environment locally? Is there a personal story that connects the fan base to those players? So that's what makes teams sometimes endear to a community, as opposed to just the teams that win the national championship. Now, it is great when the team also wins the national championship. That's also a bonus, but that's not necessarily what makes a team become endearing or solidify its place in a community. There's a lot of other factors that come into play.
It's a great point you make, and it makes me wonder, will we ever really have that now? Because you got guys transferring in, transferring out. It's hard. I think it's harder even when it's your team to grow close to them. You can grow close to particular players, but can you grow close to a particular team because of the transfer portal these days?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge. That's the challenge we see in professional sports. There is possibilities for that, but there's going to have to be other things that are happening with those particular teams. I think we just saw it happen this year with our football team.
That's what made me
They
think.
were unexpected. You see them grow. There were players that we really enjoyed. We had a homegrown quarterback. It still can happen, but it has to be special. Just like, again, we're talking about a team that was 15 years ago, so it doesn't happen very frequently.
803-404-6100. In Spirit, the documentary on the 2010-2011 South Carolina baseball run. We'll talk more about that. Hour 3 on the way. Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder and First Palmetto Bank. First Palmetto Bank, locally owned and operated right here in the Midlands. And what does that mean? That means Jacob has local decision makers ready to help you out. If you're thinking about refinancing, if you're thinking about purchasing a new home, the first thing you need to do is call Jacob Crowder today and see what options are available to you. I know those interest rates are kind of fluctuating around a little bit, so you need to see what products are available where you can get the best interest rate, get the best down payment, get the best monthly mortgage payment. Call today, 803-719-1005. You can also email Jacob Crowder, the letter J, Crowder, CROWDER, at firstpalmetto.com. Again, if you're considering building a home, buying a home, refinancing your home, now is the time. You don't need to wait another day. Call Jacob Crowder today, 803-719-1005.
There's a report of a slowdown Bar Road at Augusta Highway, so caution there also. We are looking at hard scrabble at Wilson Boulevard where there was a water main break, trying to get that fixed, which means it's going to be kind of a mess in that area as well. Hard scrabble at Wilson Boulevard. The earlier tie-up on I-26 eastbound around the rest area, that's been cleared, so things should be getting back to normal on that stretch of highway. The forecast, one more day where we might be looking at possibilities for rain, but could see just a couple showers popping up this morning, maybe a couple storms this afternoon. But outside of that, should be great. 85 for your high today. 85, today, 89 tomorrow, 92 for Friday, 67 right now.
8:01 on a Wednesday morning as we roll along, final hour of the program. Thank you, as always, to Patrick Perrett for joining us this morning to give us lacrosse talk and hockey talk. You got any lacrosse talk you can add?
Memorial Day weekend. Let's see who's there. I'll start paying attention when the championships come.
Okay. All right. We had that. A lot of fun talking to him. Our most important thing of the day, what we have discussed, is South Carolina yesterday. Learning their actual game time. We knew the location. We knew the opponent. We knew the day. Pretty sure we knew the time. But yesterday it is confirmed, 3 o'clock, ESPN against Virginia Tech. So, again, what we've discussed a little bit this morning is the fact that, hey, now maybe you don't need a hotel room. Get up, leave about 9:30, be over there by 12 noon, do some tailgating, watch a little football game, come on back, and as you said, that shouldn't be too bad. Maybe you're getting out of there about 7:30, and you're either driving back very happy, which will speed up the drive, or you're driving back very, very upset.
It's one or the other. It's going to be, because this game is set up for the idea that, hey, we should win this game.
Right. 9.5 point favorite is what ESPN bet already has.
Let's go ahead and win this game. If we're going to have the season that we're all hoping to have, we have to win this game. So if by chance it doesn't work, you will be flying on I-20 East back towards Columbia, because you will be infuriated and you'll be saying, how those guys on the early game were wrong. They pumped them up all summer. I can't believe this happened. Whatever you want to say.
Speeding back, because we'll be on the radio the next morning and you'll be ready to call. You'll all be on hold.
Exactly. You'll be on hold for sure. So it's 3 o'clock is a good time, though. 3 o'clock is a solid time. I like the afternoon games.
Labor Day weekend, so you'll be able to even mix in if you don't go, mix in your family cookout. Get into the burgers and the dogs and watch the game and have a really good time there. So that was our most important thing of the day, 3 o'clock. We also learned some other game times from ESPN and ABC yesterday. The one that stood out the most, LSU Clemson, 7:30 at night game, and the environment that'll bring.
Yeah, that's going to be my favorite game of the weekend, because, again, the Tigers versus the Tigers. You have these two coaches who are – Brian Kelly's trying to get over the hump and win a big game. Dabo's trying to prove that he's back, that his style and that his method and that his philosophy is working. You have these two quarterbacks who are highly, highly rated right now in Garrett Sussmeyer and Cade Klubnik. So that's the game that I'm looking forward to the most.
109 days until we get to that. Our countdown has officially started. 108 days until we get to Clemson and LSU. So we've talked a good bit about that. We'll get back into these neutral site games, which we feel like are kind of going away, sliding away. We'll get back into that this hour as well. Also last night, perfection. South Carolina baseball. Okay, different kind of perfection. But they go undefeated against Quad 3 and Quad 4 teams. As John Whittle pointed out, he did not put in his article who the other team in the country is that did that this year. But South Carolina goes undefeated against Quad 3, Quad 4 wins. It is the first time since 2004 that South Carolina has accomplished something like this. We can't say that they went undefeated in the midweek. They lost to North Carolina. It was a good team.
Mm-hmm.
But South Carolina defeated all of the opponents they should defeat during the midweek.
They beat who they were supposed to beat.
Yes.
And that's a really interesting concept. As we talk about, you want to come to the conversation about the team moving forward. What does this mean for the future of the program? Where the talent allowed them to win, they won. However, when it comes up against teams that were equal or better talent, they lost. It seems to me that you would need your coaching staff to either get you over the hump when you have middle-level talent, or you need your coaching staff to be able to provide ways that you can play in those situations when you have games that's close. And they were not able to do that this year. So they were able to win the games that they were supposed to, even though they had limited talent, but they were not able to win any games that they were not supposed to.
This is Paul Maneri last night after the game. He talks about the victory against Winthrop.
So I'm proud of our guys. You know, some of them haven't been real pretty. Like tonight wasn't real pretty for about 5 innings. I don't think we hit a ball hard until Scobie hit that home run. Actually, I think Casmore hit one hard right at the second baseman in the first inning. But we haven't really a lot of good at-bats. But, you know, we hung in there. I thought, you know, I mean, we were pitching pretty well. They had 1.3 runs on 3 solo home runs. I think they were all on 3-2 pitches, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, we weren't pitching that poorly, really. And And then we had 2 outs, nobody on. When Jarvis was on the mound, we hit a batter and then walked a batter, and they got a couple of fluky runs there. So but hey, the kids didn't give up. We got some big hits in that inning, not just Bose, but Hall and Casmore had big hits for us. And I teased when I saw that center fielder closing on Bo's ball. I thought that this is very typical of the year we've had. This kid's going to make a diving catch and break our hearts right now. And fortunately, the kid was just a little bit late getting there, and the ball fell and got away from him. And Boyd, his blazing speed from first base, was able to score.
They won. That's what matters. Now you get LSU. You got to sweep them to not have the worst record that they've ever had in SEC play. The point of the matter is still this team.
I'm gonna tell you, that's really important, because there's a lot of bad teams, but there's only one worse team. And when you go back in the annals of history and you start talking about, we're doing this, the early game in 2030, we start talking about the Carolina teams that have gotten to the next level and all this stuff, we're only going to talk about there were a lot of bad Carolina football teams. There's only one that went 0-11, and that's the one you remember. And so for this team, they're bad, terrible, no good, however you want to describe it. But they're not officially the worst yet. And the worst is the only one that will get talked about. And so I position that this might be the biggest series of the season for these players. Because you can be on a bad team, but you do not want to be on the worst team. And they are close. Almost got it last night. Almost got it done last night, but they didn't. But this series is huge for those players.
It should be. There should be a sense of pride. It'll be the last series that you see Ethan Petrie at Founders Park. I don't know what that means because of the way this year has gone and how his career has played out. There was a time where I thought maybe we were watching to see if he was going to break Justin Smoke's home run record. That's not, well, I guess it could technically happen. I mean, he could hit 9 home runs this weekend. That would probably be player of the week type stuff there for SEC awards. But it's what kind of pride do they have, right? That's all they're playing for at this point, especially for this weekend. What kind of pride do they have? Also, I believe Missouri could jump them. I believe I saw John Whittle in one of his breakdowns say that if Missouri swept whoever they're playing this weekend and South Carolina was to lose all 3, I believe Missouri's got a chance to jump and have South Carolina be the 16th seed at the SEC tournament.
This is the ultimate at least we ain't series for these players, because they have a chance to be the worst. But if they can win some games, they won't be. And again, as I just stated, we won't talk about the bad teams. There have been plenty of bad teams. But we will always talk about the worst team. And when you get distinguished as the worst, you live on forever. And this is not a case where you want to live on forever.
We got it for you. We'll have coverage Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6:45 pregame. Thursday, Friday, 7 o'clock first pitch. Saturday will be 2:45 pregame, 3 o'clock first pitch. LSU comes to town, and we'll see what happens. That's all we can do. You can attend, too, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be a great game. Still going to great times out there. The ballpark's going to be nice. You're going to hear the pings of the bat, hear the sounds, put me in, coach. It's still a great game to go to.
I was going to say, I mean, we had a couple people who were on the live stream and we're saying, oh, no, why do you even bother going and all that? No, absolutely. Go to the game, support the team. They're still your team. It's not a season that's gone like you've really hoped it would, but is there anything bad about going to a ballpark, grabbing a dog, a beverage, just sit out there and watch baseball? It's awesome.
I believe you said the weather is supposed to kind of take a turn, be for the better.
Yeah.
And so,
it's going to be kind of warm, but yeah, great. Get outside.
Getting out there and enjoying it should be, we'll see how it goes. That's all you can do. None of us, the 3 of us, and as far as I know, many of you listening, cannot swing a bat, throw a pitch, throw a guy out. You just can go pull for him. And get this season over and done with, and then see what they can do to get it fixed. 803-404-6100. A couple of y'all texting in on a couple different topics. Walt, that's what I'm talking about, Preston. Biggest series of the year.
That's what I'm saying. It's huge. You don't want to be the worst. You can be bad, but not the worst.
Beth from Lamar talking about earlier. She said, earlier, I heard you talking about wanting to play South Carolina State at noon. Why would anyone in their right mind want to sit out in the hot sun in September in South Carolina? If you were really a Gamecock fan, you would want cooler temperatures for players and fans. Nah, I like the noon game.
Ask Bill where he sits.
Jen sits in the press box, too. Jen's got better air conditioning than I do. And free snacks. Actually, I guess I got free snacks, too.
Yeah, I say they've the food, but there's snacks.
Yeah, good point.
Ask Terry. Terry brings an extra bag. He brings a duffel bag, fills it up.
Knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
very wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, early on, I'm all for it. Let's get that thing in at noon. Let's go tailgate early. Get in and out of the stadium. Enjoy a good time. Get home and watch football that night. And that September 6th. South Carolina State weekend, Michigan, Oklahoma. There's other really good games, too. So I'll be all for that. A couple more people weighing in. Texter says, talking about the SEC story, my wife has already made plans so that she doesn't have to watch it. She doesn't want to cry.
It's fair. It's fair.
803-404-6100. Again, if you want to weigh in. Coming back, we will get back to talking about South Carolina and Virginia Tech, but we'll ask you a little bit. Neutral site games, first home and home. This is the last neutral site game that South Carolina will have, at least for the foreseeable future, unless they get to the SEC championship. That'd be really cool. But we'll talk about the environment and why these things might be kind of going away. You're listening to the early game.
It's Jen for CHW Cabinetry in Lexington. When we had to redo our kitchen, we had a great experience. Got the picture of the photorealistic rendering of our kitchen that showed that it was finished, and even months before it was finished. But that was helpful for us when we had to go pick out flooring and backsplash and the countertops and all the things that you have to do after you've gutted your kitchen. It was not fun, but CHW Cabinetry made it so much better. They can do things a little more simply. You don't have to have your entire kitchen redone. You could have some drawers put in your pantry. You can have some things changed up in your closet. Maybe get rid of those wire hanging racks, get some drawers in there, make it all a little more functional. If you've got a home office and you need some space there, they can help you with that as well. Just visit chwcabinetry.com to see what all they can do, or call them today at 803-520-6837 and tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation. Bar Road at Highway 1, a report of an accident there. Also, Gardendale Drive at Bush River Road. Hardscrabble at Wilson, still working on that, repairing that water main break. And Highway 601 at Fredericksburg Drive, that's in Kershaw County, could still see a slowdown there due to an earlier tie-up. And boy, we'll see a little bit of chances for rain today. Nothing drastic, no big washout. Maybe a couple showers this morning, couple storms possible this afternoon. 85 for the high. The rain chances go away, and we are left with upper 80s and even into the low 90s for the next several days. So looking forward to that. 89 tomorrow, 92 on Friday. 68 right now with some clouds on 107.5 The Game.
$8:18 on your Wednesday morning as we get you up and get you going. And our most important thing of the day has been discussing South Carolina and Virginia Tech as they get set to play August 31st, a Sunday, 3 o'clock now. We now know that. But, Preston, I think I'm interested. I think there's an excitement level of playing Virginia Tech at Mercedes-Benz Stadium because South Carolina fans have wanted to do something like this for a while. They've wanted to get into this game. Gary Stoken is the director over there of, I think it's the Peach Bowl Foundation. I can't exactly remember. I know I got an email about this not too long ago, but this is something South Carolina fans have wanted. But it feels like maybe if you were to poll South Carolina fans, they'd be like, I'd rather play Virginia Tech twice and do a home and home.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would rather do. I can't speak for anybody else, but I would rather look at the stadium at Blacksburg, go up there if I was traveling to a game, experience them. We played Inner Sandman, experience the whole thing. I would rather do that than go to a pretty bland, neutral stadium that you're going to have to create the environment. The environment, it's not going to be conducive to what a college football atmosphere is. So for me personally, I would much rather a home and home than a neutral site.
South Carolina will have a home and home with them 2035, 2036.
Good luck. Who knows?
That is true. I don't even know what conference.
I'll take the under on that.
So we had a couple people weigh in on this. There's two different topics here. One, home and homes against neutral site games. But I think also you wonder, will some of these series, how will scheduling go for a lot of teams moving forward? Do you keep, if the SEC goes to a 9-game schedule, do you keep your Power 4 opponents, essentially, that a lot of teams have already lined up? Or do you go to, essentially, for South Carolina, like a 2 cupcake-type schedule with Clemson on there as well? And which direction would that go? But I'm with you on the home and homes. I think they're really cool. I've gotten the chance. I love going to other venues. Went to Alabama last year. May go to Mississippi. I've been to Mississippi. I've actually been everywhere in the SEC except Arkansas and Missouri. Don't know if I'll ever go to Missouri. Not sure if that's a trip I need to make. But I've heard going to Arkansas, going to Fayetteville is definitely worth it. But I agree with you. And I think you're seeing, remember Alabama did a lot of these neutral site games for a while. I think now you're starting to see them to go to more of the home and home series. They're going to Florida State to open the season. You see Texas and Ohio State playing a home and home series. Again, you've got Michigan and Oklahoma, Clemson, LSU. South Carolina's got theirs lined up. So it's kind of interesting. KT weighs in and goes home and home, gets my vote. Jeff weighs in, always home and never a noon game. I'm well aware I'm in the minority on that noon game thing. And Beth also came back and said, try sitting with the real people. We'll see if you change your mind. I've sat in the actual seats. I've
sat with the peasants.
Alabama, I couldn't get into a suite, so we took the kids and sat outside. That was a new experience, I believe, for Austin at that time. But
what is this? What's going on here?
Where's the free cookies? No, we don't have those, son. That's not happens. But Preston, I mean, I'm trying to think back. You did a home and home with Virginia, where you got to go up there in 2002.
Sure did.
Not a good game, by the way.
No, it wasn't a good game. That sort of ended the season, much like the way North Florida ended our basketball season. That Virginia game put a damper on what the ended that season. We went on to play Georgia. It wasn't great. Yeah, Virginia though.
I tried. That's the one that I remember. I don't think you had another.
Virginia was a beautiful campus, and they had beautiful co-eds also.
Okay, that explains that loss. And the subsequent fight that took place afterwards.
Yeah, they rushed the field for beating us, strangely enough. I don't know if that's because they were that bad or they thought we were that good, but they rushed the field, and you run up in people's personal space, and you might get violated.
Mess around, find out, essentially.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, but to that point, yeah, you got to do that. I'm trying to think if there was any. Obviously, Clemson, a neutral site, home and home, or excuse me, not a neutral site, a non-conference home and home game. I don't think you had any others. Am I leaving anything else there?
None that. Well, it didn't stand out. If there weren't any that I can think about that I remember.
But I think your point on this is the environment of a neutral site game. You also didn't. Well, you went to. The Outback Bowl is a neutral site game, but the environment of a regular season neutral site game against the environment of a home and home game.
We just saw this play out in the college football playoffs, where the draw was seeing these games on campus. We saw all of the pageantry and the atmosphere and the fans and all of these things that we love about college football. We saw it on campus as the games moved on into the bowls and even further into the championship. It becomes more sterile, more corporate, less of what we actually love about college sports.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm trying to think. I've been to a lot of bowl games. I never have been to Charlotte. Have you ever gone up to Charlotte to watch one of these neutral site games with South Carolina? Not the bowl game, but you went to see the South Carolina's played, 4 or 5. East Carolina once, and then I think 4 against North Carolina, if I'm thinking correctly. Maybe 3 or 4. But I don't know how people feel about that. I'm familiar with the bowl setting and going to those, but I would assume a regular season neutral site game is a lot different atmosphere than a bowl game neutral site setting.
Well, there is something to it. It's the first game of the year. Everybody's going to be jacked up for it. So there will be people that are excited to be there. So, and Virginia Tech travels well. We travel well. The people will be there. I just think as the fans, as everybody's indicating, part of the novelty is seeing how, that's how they do it over here. Oh, that's what they drink over here. Oh, that's what this tailgate looks like. Oh, they're not better than us. We got it way better. All of that comparison is part of the reasons why you like to travel to other games. It's not just for the sport. It's for everything that's surrounding it.
Now, are you against the Florida-Georgia series? They've talked about trying to make that a home and home series as opposed to being the Jacksonville. Would you be for that, or Texas, Oklahoma being in the Cotton Bowl?
Those are good questions. I think those are unique enough events where people want to go to that specific event. And yes, they had to start that somewhere, and maybe that's what they were trying to accomplish with us playing up here against North Carolina. But North Carolina's fans don't bring the juice enough. Florida, Georgia fans bring the juice to wherever they are. So that event is a thing. Even Oklahoma, Texas, that is a thing. So I'm for those. Those are cool because they are played at the same place. They are annualized. Things are happening every year. Everybody can look forward to this. This is very random. Just happens to be the first game of the year. We're just meeting at a random a dome, a corporate dome in the middle of a corporate city to play football. It's kind of flavorless.
Yeah, I think it was Steve Spurrier that really wanted to get this off the ground and running. The way he saw the Florida-Georgia series, he wanted South Carolina, North Carolina.
I see the potential. Charlotte is in between the border states. There's a rivalry kind of between North and South Carolina. There's potential there, but like I said, I blame the North Carolina fans. They don't bring the juice.
Yeah, Albert weighs in and says, while I love home and homes, I've always liked playing North Carolina and Charlotte. It's right up the road, and Charlotte is a cool town, and we show up in force at Bank of America Stadium. I thought I saw. Were you going to make a comment on that?
No, I was just nodding my head in agreement. Yeah, I think that actually makes sense.
It makes sense. Geographically, I think that is a good series, and that could potentially work. It was a bad game for us. The beginning of the end of the Muschamp era, I would say.
It's been that kind of morning where we were reliving stuff.
Remember, I am the head of the Muschamp division for your sports lawsuits, so if you need me, I have all the references that you need.
Texter weighs in, Clemson and Georgia last year in Atlanta just felt blah. Well, that was, I will say.
And it was a beatdown.
It was a beatdown. And that's the other part to it is when you get some games like that get out of hand, it doesn't have the same home feel. And so, truthfully, I think we'd all love to wallop Virginia Tech. But if it gets out of hand, you're kind of sitting around like, okay. All right.
Yeah, also Clemson, Georgia, there's history there. There's lineage there. There's really, yes, we played Virginia Tech, but There's no
Well,
connection.
It's for most people, I think it would say what. I mean, it's going to be 35-ish years. Really, somebody can correct me on that. 1990-ish, somewhere in there, since they've last played. Because I'll speak the older, but I will say my father, his friends. So I'll just say older generation. But one thing that is the fact that that was a great trip. People really, really liked that series. Now, mind you, in the 80s, Virginia Tech stunk. Virginia Tech was awful. I think it's also been shown that, by the way, just a quick side note, because I've seen the little YouTube video, the news broke on South Carolina joining the SEC during a game at Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Just an interesting little side note on that. But we'll see. A couple of y'all weighing in. Let's get some opinions on this. Text weighs in. I think North Carolina State would be a better opponent than North Carolina.
They bring a little more juice, for sure.
Another person says that I actually like facing NC State more than North Carolina. So that's an interesting take. South Carolina does have a series lined up with NC State, I believe 2030, 2031, something like that.
Good luck.
We'll see if we get there. Yeah, that's pushing up on about the time I'll be closer to 50. So it's great just to start off your morning thinking like that. 803-404-6100. Come back, talk a little bit more about some football. Also, get into a few other things that we got here lined up for you this morning. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for the Men's Clinic. Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic, they are there. Listen, guys, as we get older and our health starts to change a little bit, that's what we'll call it. You start to have a little bit of brain fog. Maybe some things aren't going as you planned. Maybe you're noticing some differences. You need to contact Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. It's a safe, comfortable place where you can discuss any issues that you have going on. So give him a phone call today and line up a appointment. Let's talk with Dr. Dan Balknight, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, where they are in the business of restoring men to the prime of their life. They want you to feel comfortable. They want you to feel great. But most importantly, they want you to talk about your issues in a safe, comfortable environment. So call them today and line up an appointment, 803-875-MENS.
Bar Road at Highway 1, also Hardscrabble Road at Wilson Boulevard there where they're working on that water main break, getting that repaired. I-20 westbound before 277, a report of an accident there. Also I-77 southbound at Fort Jackson Boulevard. Broad River Road at Kennerly, a tie-up, and Highway 378 near Atlas Road. As far as your forecast goes, last day we'll be talking about rain for a couple days. Might see a pop-up shower this morning and maybe a pop-up storm this afternoon. But overall, looking for clouds and a high of 85. Some clouds tomorrow, 89, 92 for your Friday, and even 90 for a high on Saturday. Right now, 68 on 107.5 The Game.
.34 here as we roll along on your Wednesday morning. Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, Bill Gunner here, and getting ready for tomorrow, where in a lot of ways, I think sometimes the PGA, the way they've moved the PGA Championship, it doesn't wrap up golf season. You still got the U.S. Open and the Open Championship. But, Preston, the fact that they're having the PGA Championship up in Charlotte, I feel like puts closure on a very fun about 6 weeks of golf, where the last 6 tournaments, 3 of them have been basically within 3 hours of us. Augusta, obviously just an hour down the road. Charlotte, about an hour and a half up the road. But also the Heritage, 3 hours away. And it's been a good run for golf, but I don't know if it's something that has pushed it back into the forefront of people's minds.
Well, I guess when you're working at a sport that's a niche sport, maybe you don't need to deal with the casual fans first. How do golf fans feel about this? Do golf fans feel like this is that has provided the entertainment that they needed, that is living up to its standards, that the players are playing well?
I think so. The answer is I think. I don't want to. I really can't speak for golf fans, but it feels like what you've seen, Rory McIlroy winning the Masters and what he was able to do. Justin Thomas, a brand name, a big name, winning at the Heritage. Scotty Scheffler has been playing incredible of late. Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka being invited to a Ryder Cup dinner. DeChambeau didn't make it, weather issues, but discussing about having them on the Ryder Cup team. It feels like there is some momentum, I think, and that's a good point. I don't know. A Kentucky Derby, a golf, F1, do you focus? That's a great question, actually. Do you focus on your fan base, or do you try to expand your fan base?
Well, there's pros and cons to both. So the cons, when you try to expand your fan base, obviously you water down your product. You try to make it palatable to everybody else. But the pros, if you just double down on who likes golf and make it as golfy as possible, and you try and maybe people start looking over and seeing how much fun or how interesting that's what the Masters do. They're not worried about everything else that all these other courses are doing. This is the Masters. Right. This is how we do things, and everybody will adjust accordingly. And I think maybe that might be a strategy for a lot of niche sports moving forward, is to focus on the people that love you, and then then you get everybody else.
Jen, I think you can speak to this, your love for NASCAR, your love for racing. I feel like by NASCAR doing stuff like going to Bowman Gray, going back to North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race, doing things like that, going to the tracks that kind of set the fan base how it was back in the 70s and 80s, that's focusing on your fan base, and as opposed to, and I know they do it a lot, but going to Vegas or Miami or kind of the bigger cities where maybe you're more of an afterthought.
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely reaching the purists and those who have been with the sport for a while, but then you're also having an opportunity to reintroduce, hey, for those of you who are newer fans, look at where this all started and came from. This is really cool, and kind of get them hooked in that way too. So I think it appeals really to both fan bases, but I think it's very smart.
The U.S. Open will be at Oakmont Country Club, a place where they've held it several times. So I feel like that's kind of going back to the roots of golf a little bit. The Open Championship will be at Royal Portrush Golf Club in Northern Ireland. But it's going to be a really good tournament this weekend. But again, the fact, and I think we're all very blessed to have so many great golf events right around us.
Oh, yeah.
Like obviously, last week would have been the Truist Championship that would have been held at Quail Hollow. So this little run of golf is where we have it right around us to really enjoy. And tomorrow, I'm kind of excited to see a couple different storylines here. Preston, tell me which one you're more interested in. You got Jordan Spieth. That's the storyline. He's not played great. We talked about Rory McIlroy not winning a major for a long time and what that kind of did to him. Well, Jordan Spieth is still searching for the career Grand Slam. And for him to do that, he will need to win this week at the PGA Championship. But again, it's kind of the same conversation we had at going into the Masters about how Rory McIlroy had not won.
Yeah, so I was reading this article on Yahoo Sports, and Jordan Spieth was saying if he could win any tournament, obviously it would be this one, so he can complete that Grand Slam. So is it more important to have the career Grand Slam or to be winning more tournaments, as you said, because he has not been playing well? I do think that is interesting because that gives you, it solidifies you, it certifies you as somebody who's one of the best because only few people have done that.
8 years since the last time he won a major championship, 2017 at the Open. His best finish at the PGA was 2015 when he was red hot. He won the Masters that year and the U.S. Open. But Jordan Spieth, that's one storyline. Another storyline is, all right, Rory, you won. Remember that was the conversation that we had on that Wednesday before the Masters. I forget how we phrased it about Rory not winning for a long time. And what that did, I can't remember if you were calling him a bust. I can't remember exactly how we phrased it. But now that that's done, that winning the Masters is over, does this free him up to play better golf? And do we see him winning a second one tomorrow? Starting tomorrow?
That's a very strong possibility because Rory's always about having the mental stuff that gets in the way. He's always being Rory, right? We'll see. I think I lean towards that. He's got the monkey off his back. Maybe he'll be able to go play freely now.
Another storyline. How does Bryson DeChambeau play? He's somehow worked his way. Bryson's black and white. To me, he's black and white. I don't think there's gray area on that. You're either like, man, I really like that guy, and look at him, he's one of us, or you're like, man, that guy's, no, I don't like him. He whines too much, and he did all the weird things with his swing and trying to hit the ball 9 million yards on one swing. He does the YouTube video. That's not fun. I feel like Bryson's very black and white on that, but I don't mind seeing him be in the tournament on Sunday and being very competitive.
Well, he strategically put himself here. He strategically made himself into this guy that people want to pay attention to. And for a casual like myself, that is interesting. Oh, okay, let's see. What is this dude doing? He's slapping fives with the gallery? I don't see anybody else doing that. Let me see what's going on with him. So I could see how somebody like that might be more appealing to a casual fan just tuning in, especially if you don't know all of the backgrounds for all of the golfers.
Brooks Koepka, another live guy that I'm interested in seeing this week and how he performs. This is a tournament that typically sets up well for him. He won the PGA Championship 2018, 2019, and in 2023. So he's got 3 PGA championships under his belt. He's also won the U.S. Open twice in 2017 and 2018. So you're talking about a guy with 5 majors there. He wins this. That gives him 6. That puts him in really rarefied air when it comes to majors and puts him as one of, and I think he's already there, but I think because of the move to live, I think because of his personality at times, I think that we don't view him as one of the best golfers of his era.
Is live still a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still going on. We don't know where it's at, or
do they still play this?
Is live really living, or is it a little more on life support?
Is it alive? What's happening with this? Because I keep hearing people refer to as he's a live guy. But what do they play? Where do they play? What do they play on? Who knows? It's really interesting. I only hear about them when they're playing in these PGA tournaments.
Well, and that's the point. It's kind of like John Rahm. John Rahm was a huge figure. He's well paid. He's very, very well compensated right now. But when it comes to top golfers in the world, I don't think we mention John Rahm's name anymore. I don't. Maybe it's just because I forget about him. He's still a really, really good golfer, but it'll be interesting to see. And the final storyline to me is that of Scottie Scheffler. Like, is this dude really the best golfer in the world? He was there at the Masters. He was never, what I would say, in full contention, but he was never out of it. We were all staring at him, waiting for him to do something. And also, have you seen what he's doing this week? I'm doubting he will do this during the round tomorrow. He's wearing his lanyard with his credential or whatever around his neck so he doesn't get arrested
I was
this
about
week.
to say, he will not have as eventful PGA Tour championship as he did last year. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Take the under on him getting arrested again.
He will have somebody driving him. He will have his lanyard.
What a great day! What a great day in the studio. It's like, did Scheffler get what's going on?
That was
What's
a wild.
happening?
We saw it.
That was so much fun.
We saw it come up on Twitter. We were like, this doesn't. I think I looked. I was like, this doesn't seem right. All of a sudden, it was on TV.
It was great.
It was an interesting day a year ago for Scotty Scheffler on a Thursday morning. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the program. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. Have you received a mean, nasty notice from the IRS? Are they after you? Are they after your business? Are they after your family? Why are they doing that? Well, sometimes mistakes happen. But you know what? With the Ecton Law Firm, you can get those mistakes taken care of. All you've got to do is make a phone call, get a free consultation. 803-771-9800. Again, it's 803-771-9800. The Ecton Law Firm has a local team dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good because they understand the challenges you're facing. They are ready to offer you the peace of mind you deserve, and they're going to do that with proven local solutions. They've done it for thousands of families, and they're ready to help yours. So if the IRS is after you and you're a little nervous, you're stressed out, you're worried, you're not sure how to navigate the IRS maze, call the Ecton Law Firm today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you. 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. You've heard Jen say it. Weather's starting to change a little bit. It's going to start being a lot warmer out there. Is your air conditioner ready to handle the summer heat? Well, it better be. If not, it's time to call AAA Heating and Air. 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. AAA Heating and Air is the go-to name in the Midlands with guaranteed financing, no payments or interest for 12 months, and a 15-year parts and labor warranty. It's no wonder they're the absolute best in the business. And again, they're ready to help you right now. If you're looking for a brand new heating and air unit, AAA Heating and Air is who you need to call. And again, check out the no payments or interest for 12 months, 15-year parts and labor warranty. And again, that's all coming with guaranteed financing. So give them a phone call, 803-677-1500. That's exactly what I did just about 3 years ago. Got a brand new heating and air unit put in, and it has been absolutely fantastic. Find out for yourself. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Final segment of the program here. As we wrap it up, we'll be back tomorrow. Josh Harris of Darlington Raceway will join us for our Checkered Flag Challenge. Get the updated standings on that. I believe I might have taken the lead, Jen. Did I get enough points to go past Reggie in our update here? Am I like 2 or 3 up on him, maybe 1 or 2? No idea yet. Kyle Larson winning last week, and we'll get ready for that tomorrow.
2 up on Reggie.
2 up on Reggie. That's normally not good. That's not what I need to be doing. Last time I did that, I fell completely apart and fell flat on my face. So I didn't know. Preston, we hadn't seen the sheet. Do you know how you did last week in the NASCAR? Any idea?
Not rock bottom, but I'm close.
Not rock bottom. That's the attitude that we like to have. I feel like that's somewhat the mantra of South Carolina baseball right now until maybe Saturday afternoon or Sunday. So North Wilkesboro this weekend for the All-Star race coming up on Sunday. So we'll catch up with Josh Harris on tomorrow at 8:30 to talk about that. Most important thing of the day that we've discussed, South Carolina football. 3 o'clock start time against Virginia Tech on Sunday, August the 31st.
Yeah, and it's only important because it gives us an idea of what else was happening that weekend. We know that what times the later games were going to be played, but we didn't know exactly what you said you figured it was going to be an afternoon game.
Yeah,
and we got it. So that's great.
Yep. So that was our most important thing of the day. We got into that a good bit. One other thing, and I saved this here to throw at you here at the very end. I don't know your feelings on it. By the way, this might be my last show, and I say that because I might be a millionaire. Pete Rose now eligible for the Hall of Fame. All 70-some-odd of my Pete Rose cards I'm expecting to spike in price and to sell them and retire handsomely at the ripe young age of 43. But Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe, now Hall of Fame eligible after the Major League Baseball lifting its ban on them.
Yeah, I don't have very strong feelings on that. Pete obviously was pretty unrelenting in his non-apologies while he was alive. And I feel like that's all he really had to do to get in. And so he did it his way. There's a groundswell of people who would obviously love him to play. I never saw Pete Rose play, so I don't have an affinity for him. All I know was the aftermath of Pete Rose. So that's maybe clouds my judgment a little bit. I do know there are a lot of people that want him in. His numbers support that. We'll see. Put it to a vote. We'll see.
Obviously, Shoeless Joe Jackson is now Rob Manfred ruling that Major League Baseball's punishment of banned individuals ends upon their death. So let me ask you that. You think about the PED guys, and now you think about the guys like Shoeless Joe and Pete Rose and all these guys. You okay with that? With when a guy passes away, you can, or do you feel like no?
No, I don't think death exonerates you from what you did when you were alive. Nah. You did it while you were playing. I don't think it exonerates you.
Rob Manfred saying, I have concluded that permanent ineligibility ends upon the passing of the disciplined individual, and Mr. Rose will be removed from the permanently ineligible list. So kind of interesting there to hear that. Then Shoeless Joe and 7 other Chicago White Sox players were banned from playing professional baseball in 1921 for fixing the 1919 World Series, which actually might be worse. Well, it is worse than what Pete Rose did.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to gradiate sins, but gambling is not great, and it's messing with the integrity of the game. I believe that's the umbrella they would put it underneath, and so put it to a vote, man. Let's see what the sports writers think.
Also, according to ESPN, it says the earliest Rose and Jackson could be enshrined is in the summer of 2028. So still a few years to get there for them for that. So that was other news from yesterday.
I guess I just look at so many other egregious things that have been done that maybe people haven't been banned or whatever that I don't know. I have mixed emotions on it. You know, I feel like you make a mistake, and if you helped the game after that, okay, can the sin be forgiven, or does it have to haunt you the rest of your life? I don't know, because again, I look at other things that other players have done that it's like, really, that was kind of ick too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have mixed emotions about it.
That's fair.
I joke. I mean, I really do have a whole bunch of Pete Rose cards. I'm not sure how this kind of occurred at my early age in the card collecting stage, but I do have a whole bunch of Pete Rose cards. So if they go up in 50-cent value, I can now probably go buy a cheeseburger or something if I want. But I don't even know what the value of baseball cards are these days. We went down a path. I went down a path with my father not too long ago.
They're booming. The card market is booming.
Okay. Well, have to
maybe
check.
not your cards, but the market.
I've got some good ones. I think. I don't know. I'd have to figure out how exactly to price them. But so that was one other news note from yesterday. And then also today we have discussed perfection, Preston Thorne, perfection. South Carolina baseball, undefeated against Quad 3 and Quad 4 teams in the midweek games. 20-0.
They did it in entertaining fashion, to say the least.
Oh, my goodness.
To say the least. They did it in entertaining fashion. If you thought we was going to be at rock bottom, we were very close there, but they did. You ever get in the pool and you thought it was a 10-foot pool, but it's a 12-foot pool, and you're trying to touch the bottom? That's what they tried to do, but they never got there. So they're climbing back up. They're on a big series for this LSU series.
You're calling
they do not want to be the worst team.
Calling it the biggest series of the year.
Biggest series of the season. You can be bad. You can be awful. You do not want to be the worst, and that's what's on the line this weekend.
They will have to sweep in order to not have the worst record, the worst SEC record ever for a South Carolina baseball team. They've got to win 2 of their final, at least what we know to be 4 games, to not have a losing record. And then, quite frankly, we will have to look and just see what Paul Mainieri is going to do with his coaching staff, with his players, with the transfer portal, because the honeymoon's over. It's time to get back to the regionals next year, maybe even a super regional. That will be the expectation, regardless of whatever happens over the next at least 4, maybe 5, if they can win a game in the SEC tournament. So, a lot of fun today. Again, football, 3 o'clock. 109 days away, Preston Thorne. 109 days away.
Ready?
It's been a lot of fun. We'll come back tomorrow. Again, Josh Harris will join us. We'll get into a whole bunch of stuff, get you set for the weekend. PGA Championship kicking off around 7 a.m. tomorrow. We'll discuss that a little bit. Talk some Braves. Braves are 21-21. All of it tomorrow. Y'all have a great day.
See y'all.
Bill Gunner from Mid-State Roofing, where they have been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry for nearly 30 years. That's right, 30 years. Very, very long time. And Mid-State Roofing is going to continue to be the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry because of the way they treat the customers. That's right. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mid-State Roofing is there to help you. You give them a phone call, you're going to speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee. You just got to make that phone call. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. You can also visit them on the web, midstateroofing.com.